Welcome to Afterthoughts, everybody. I am your host, John Garcia. We have a special follow-on to our previous episode. If you were a big fan of Disposal Day. Disclosure Day. I finally thought of the bully name I wanted for it. If you're a big fan of that episode, we got a little treat for you. We're going to be talking about another Steven Spielberg movie. But before we get into that and talk about Spielberg, let's introduce who we got at the table. It's our usual Rogues Gallery here. We've got Ryan King.
How's it going, John? I'm a real boy. I think we're all real boys here.
Real boy. We're real. I also watched Bicentennial Man, and they use the word complete man to indicate when you have genitalia. So I'm a complete man.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
It was a weird, for a PG movie for kids, that's a really weird line to throw in there. And I guess it,
Yeah, that's like how they call dogs like intact.
It is, yeah.
It's like very medical.
So you're saying Bicentennial Man is taking a strong political stance on the fact that men have to have genitalia.
That's right. It's very weird.
Interesting.
How it does that. Well, we're not here to talk about that. And that voice that you hear is Michael Dixon.
Hey, John. Yeah, I'm very interested to talk about this movie. It was a lot, and I think it's going to be interesting to unpack. So,
Yes, I agree. And the whole reason that this episode even exists, that we're doing this conversation, is Criterion posted that they were releasing this fucking gorgeous, way too late to be released Stanley Kubrick collection when Dixon and I both already have a lot of the collection.
yeah,
And
all of the collection pretty much,
How
except for
dare
maybe
they?
some shorts or something. And then Lolita is not available on 4K, except
Yeah.
for in this set. I'm not going to spend $300 just to get Lolita on 4K. I'm not going to do it. John, hold me back.
Yeah, I'm holding you back. And I can't do what I did for you that one time when Taxi Driver was just part of like some fucking Columbia Pictures bullshit. I'm not going to go that hard for a Kubrick collection. But they posted this and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I guess when I looked at that box set, something in my fucking cache and cookies in my browser was like, let's just suggest other shit that's related to Kubrick, fucking shooting that everywhere. And I saw AI was recommended and I was like, this is a Steven Spielberg movie. What the fuck? And I looked into it and it was like, no, it's actually, a story by Kubrick, and Spielberg just took it. And I saw some little blurb that was like, the parts that are darkest in this movie actually don't come from Kubrick at all. And I was like, oh, that's enticing. Sure. I'll fucking watch AI. I've never seen it. I had no idea what it was about. I remember seeing a teary-eyed Haley Joel Osment, and that was like it. And I also occasionally would blur it in my mind and think that Jake Lloyd was in it, which is not true at all. So somehow I got them confused, even though Haley Joel Osment is the superior actor as a child. Sorry, Jake Lloyd. But yeah, so I picked AI, artificial intelligence. Is it AI's : artificial intelligence?
I believe so.
There you go.
Yeah.
AI's : artificial intelligence.
Does it have a colon? It might not actually have a colon.
Sometimes they alternate it. Oh, it just says AI, artificial intelligence. It's all one line.
A period,
Well, we're already
I period,
fucking this
artificial
up.
intelligence.
Oh, wow.
Which they called it that because they're like, oh, if we call it AI, people will think it's A1 and no
Everybody will
one
think it's a
Oh, I
steak
love
sauce.
A1.
which is now, yeah.
Whataburger, if you're listening, bring back the A1 Thick and Hearty Burger.
Well, we're here to talk about A1. This is now a steak sauce podcast. Fucking hit the trailer, Johnny.
The A1 Thick and Hearty Burger is back. The double meat burger with bacon, grilled onions, and bold A1 Thick and Hearty sauce.
What a burger!
Just like you like it.
Shit, wrong one.
When's your birthday? I never had a birthday.
His name is David.
I feel it. That's creepy. Whoa, feels so real.
In a distant future, in an age of intelligent machines, he is the first robotic child programmed to love and coexist as a member of a family. His is a tale of humanity and a journey to find his place among humans and machines.
I'm a boy.
You are a real boy. At least as real as I've ever made one.
AI, artificial intelligence, is Steven Spielberg's. It's not his darkest movie because he's made Schindler's List and other shit, but it's a really dark sci-fi movie. I know he did Minority Report as well, but somehow this felt like way more fucked up than Minority Report to me.
Yeah, they're both very fucked up, but this is weirder.
Yeah, that was kind of...
Minority Report just becomes an action movie.
Yeah, there's a certain point where it's just like, now it's just Tom Cruise and he's going to run as fast as he can. That's what every Tom Cruise movie devolves into. Can we keep the camera going?
Into, John. That is peak cinema when Tom Cruise is sprinting on screen.
You're right. It shirked the bonds with which it's restrained in cinema, and it soars much like a fast movie into the stratosphere.
That's when Tom Cruise engages the NOS.
Could you imagine? Oh, God. Okay. I got to keep this on the rails. God damn it. We got to talk about this fucking movie.
Can we get to the plot synopsis?
Yeah, Jesus. So AI follows, I believe Stanley Kubrick pitched it as just like a sci-fi version of Pinocchio. I'm sure there's more nuance to it than what that was. But it does follow basically the plot beats of this, minus there's no lesson that's really learned by the child about wanting to be a real boy.
No.
Other than that, to be real means you have to endure a shit ton of pain and you lose everybody that you love. And even if you could have them for a day, you're still going to fucking lose them, which is just such a fucking bleak message. But Haley Joel Osment's character, he is a robot child who is gifted by a massive megacorp to a couple that is recently bereaved. The father works for the megacorp, and
not bereaved.
Oh, sorry.
Their son is in a coma.
Oh, well, they're preemptively bereaved.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's dead to them as far as I knew for most of that movie. And then when he comes back, he's a real asshole. We'll talk about that.
He is, yeah.
So they're going through this like coping. They're trying to really figure out what's going on with what's going to happen. All that uncertainty hangs over them and causes all this stress. And this corporation decides, we're trying to work on the next generation of robots. They're going to be able to love so that they can tap into the deepest parts of their robo subconscious. Because it's like a Christopher Nolan film where like love can do anything. And that means that love can make the robots, as real as possible and super, it can help people. But really there's a lot of questions that immediately open up from that. And then we get to see this family kind of endure with this child and try to live with him. And at some point, when they're starting to get attached, their other son wakes up and it sends them on this other journey of like, well, we can't have these two kids now. And this robot kid, we need to get rid of him. And the robot kid just wants to be part of the family, wants to be human. Haley Joel Osment's character is sent off on a Pinocchio-esque journey and meets a lot of wacky, weird characters throughout the movie. And a lot of dark shit happens along the way too. And a lot of surprise cameos from actors I did not expect being in the movie.
Yes. The majority of my notes on this movie are just celebrity ? Exclamation points.
Yeah. This movie's really firing on all cylinders, just getting everybody into the bucket who needs to either like renew a SAG card or just cash in on a check. It's going for it. So this is my first time watching this. I knew nothing about it. I really didn't watch any recaps. I haven't heard anybody talk about this movie. Like, I think since it came out, I haven't heard anybody really mention it. So yeah, I was really surprised because it seems a lot more memorable than I thought it would be. I was like, well, if nobody talks about it and people were just kind of like, whatever, it's one of Spielberg's 2000s movies. Like, there wasn't going to be much to it, but there's so much fucking cool set design in it. It has like a weird retro future. It's like a pre 9/11, pre-smartphone, like optimistic portrayal of the future, but also contains all the dark underwebbing of what that like is hiding, which I thought was really cool to see it all come together. It's a sprawling kind of epic told through like a kid's eyes, but the kid is a robot. And like, that just makes this weird layer of like meta commentary about ethics happen. The score also, I really enjoyed the score. I found like parts of it were haunting and carried like a whimsical nature of it. Like it's weird to see Steven Spielberg come back to something and like come back to his form and sort of make, especially after Disclosure Day, make something that like felt like it had like real vision and intent, and he wanted to really explore parts of the character and concept, and at the same time was not neglecting the other aspects of the cinema he was bringing in. Like it sounded like there was a lot more effort, especially Ryan, when you watch Disclosure Day, John Williams, they're just propping his corpse up. They're Weekend at Bernieing him. That's just how it goes. But here, like, it just felt like there was a lot more depth added to the score. Character performances are pretty solid. I do feel like this is a big old mess. Like a lot of this movie just becomes a mess as it goes. Like I really didn't know where it was going though. Yeah. And so that kept me engaged because I just wanted to find out what the fuck it was going to end on. And it ended so bittersweet, but also with so much weird shit that it just sort of was like, yeah. And then this happens. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So yeah, that was my initial take was just a lot of surprise. I would say I was delighted for parts of it. I was confused for others, horrified in the middle parts. I feel like I really went on the journey with Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
I walked a mile in David's shoes, and it wasn't super pleasant, but I appreciated it for the impact it made on me. And I was like, damn, okay, this is a good cinematic journey from a perspective of it moved me in some way to a bigger house. Oh shit, I said the loud part. The quiet part loud. But yeah, anyways, those are my initial thoughts on it. Dixon, you're a first timer too, right? Wait, Ryan, are you also a first timer or you saw this?
No.
Okay, cool. We'll save Ryan for last. Yeah, Dixon, you're a first timer. What'd you think?
Yeah, this was a big hot mess. I am shocked that Kubrick was so involved with this, just given I see almost no traces of him at all in this movie. And I know he didn't actually make it. And some of the biggest things that make Kubrick movies stand out as Kubrick movies are the cinematography. And so it's when that piece is taken away, it's going to lose a lot of that feel. But also thought it was odd that he got no credit whatsoever for this. I know it's based on, I think, a short story by somebody, and then Spielberg and somebody else, or maybe not Spielberg, just a couple other guys wrote the final version of the script. So I think that those three people got credit, and Kubrick planned the whole movie and did lots of versions of the script, and then just never got any credit whatsoever, which seems odd to me. You would think that Spielberg would have wanted Kubrick to be credited in the film, but I don't know, it probably means less money for him. So.
All it had at one point was just a Spielberg/Kubrick production, right?
Yeah, the very opening credits, but then he was never credited in the ending credits, and he's never listed as a producer or writer or anything like that.
So you're saying he saw it?
He saw it? What do you mean?
He got to go to the screening room, and he was like, take my name out of that. I don't want anything.
He was very dead, so I don't think that happened. But.
So you're saying his family saw it?
Could be. Like this movie, no.
Posthumous, yeah.
We will not put this shit stain upon our father's grave. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much crazy shit going on here that makes no sense. I have so many questions about why the fuck this company would decide to build child robots, and how those actually work in practice, and how the hell this is supposed to end, right?
This is really not
fun not at all.
Yeah,
it's
not at all.
It's okay, they can't eat and they don't sleep. How do they charge? How do they get fuel? I have no idea. That's
Nuclear
never
reactor.
Explained. Toward the end of the movie, he's stuck under a frozen ocean for 2,000 years, and he never runs out of fucking charge. I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, and by that statement alone, this movie should let you know how insane this film is. But yeah, how are they charged? Do they never grow older? Do they learn? Do they, part of the I would imagine, I'm not a parent, but I would imagine part of the joy of being a parent is seeing your child grow and develop over time. And without having that feels like a very hollow experience. It's akin more to pet ownership than it is to actual parenthood, or to just having a toy or something. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things that don't make a lot of sense here. It's are you supposed to keep taking care of this thing as you get older and older and have to live in a nursing home, and you still have just a robot that needs you to tend to all of its needs? And it just seems weird to me. The whole plot is crazy. It's just, none of it makes any sense. I know you could argue oh, well, William Hurt's character is this fractured, broken man, and that's why he did this. But sure, but this is a huge company that's making these things. It has to go through so many checks. Somebody should have been hey, wait a minute, let's have a conversation about this before we just make an army of child robots that all look the same. Just seems very, very strange to me. So I don't know. And then it starts out as this, story about him trying to, earn the love of the parents in this house in a very creepy way, like the creepiest kid of all time.
Yeah.
And then it just very quickly turns into this crazy otherworldly sci-fi thing about like, prostitute robots and all this other stuff, and the flesh fair of where just humans sit around and take joy in seeing robots get ripped apart.
Fucking Burning Man for robot hate.
Which I kind of get, like as living in the age of AI now, I could, have some fun seeing Claude get dismembered or something like that. But the whole thing is very weird and disjointed. It feels like 3 movies crammed together into one that's just not cohesive at all. But I don't know. Ryan, what are your thoughts? I imagine you have some similar opinions there.
Yeah. So this is my third time watching it. The first time I think we went in knowing absolutely nothing, and I do think I had heard, at the time they were trying to talk about Kubrick and it being related to Kubrick, and that definitely caught my interest in watching it. Having years since learned, I think the story has gotten extremely muddled over time, and that whoever it is that owns AI, and for whatever reason, I think Spielberg tried to kind of like still cash on Kubrick to some part of it. But the short story was adapted by a British sci-fi writer, Ian Watson, that Kubrick had asked to get a adaptation that then he shopped around. So I don't think that anyone could go back and be like, oh, this is Kubrick's vision, because we all know Kubrick changes his scripts constantly while filming, right? As he finds the story or makes decisions as he goes. Plus, his vision is far beyond just what's the dialogue that brings us into the world that, whatever it is he wants to craft. I think he had something that he was like, I think there's an interesting idea of this kind of Pinocchio story and this warped, what's human, and having a child that's this toy, and can it love, and do we deserve to give it love back? What is, now that we've created it, what does it deserve? There's this cool idea underneath it that does not get fucking executed, I feel like, at all. And I'll say from previous watchings, I remember the middle dragging, kind of just it gets lost somehow. And it feels kind of stitched together of a couple different ideas. Watching it now, I'm like, oh yeah, it feels like 3 different ideas stitched together kind of weirdly at the seams. That each one in isolation is kind of interesting. It sort of gets you into a mood in each little part of the story. And then it's kind of over before you could even really process it. And it never really executed it that well. You guys didn't even mention the ending, which I'm sure we're going to spend a while on when we get around to it. I have retroactively rewritten the ending of this movie twice because watching it again, I was like, oh yeah, here's what happens at the end. And then I was like, oh no, that's not what happens at the end. That's what I thought happened at the end. And I'm like, I remember watching this before and having that exact same experience. So I'm twice I've rewritten this movie in my own mind.
Mandela effect?
Not much for the better. Yeah, I didn't make it good. I still remember it not being a great ending. Yeah. I just remember a different ending. So yeah, well, I guess we can talk about that. But it's in this weird. I am still somewhat on the fence about it. I'm just definitely on the it just is. It's too much without anything that really fully executes and lands. Aside from Haley Joel Osment's acting, I feel
pretty fucking great.
His performance is good. I feel like everyone else's performances are just a little off. I almost in I wish several of them I'm cast in my own mind to be someone else and it would be better.
I think a lot of that is the fault of the script. There's just not much for these characters to do. They're all very flatly drawn.
Yeah,
it is. It's framed like a fable and it's told like a melodrama. a dramatization almost of something happening. Like even the blocking in business in certain scenes, like when the dad brings home the child robot first, who brings David home, and then it just cuts to that argument where the like wife is like, what were you thinking? He's like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? And then he like moves over to the other side of the room and he's like, what do you want me to do? And like, it just, there's a certain delivery where you're like, this, something feels like overproduced about this, like a little too hammy.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird decisions. Yeah. I did enjoy the middle chunk more this time. I still feel like it's like lost and it goes on for too long. But I got a little bit more into the like now this many years later, I'm like, this effects work is pretty interesting to like to think about how they were doing it at the time. And there's some like pretty cool like choices, and it's interesting to think about, but not too much because it falls apart. But like the world that they crafted outside of like the family's house that we first see, this like glimpse into this apocalypse or whatever. There's a bunch of tonal whiplash between, is it the future and is the technology still old or what? Like, again, something that Kubrick would have spent fucking forever executing perfectly, right? To be like, no, they wouldn't have that. No, they wouldn't do that. No, right? Like, it's like Spielberg doesn't really do that or spend effort on that. So it just like things will be right next to each other that you're like, those can't exist at the same time.
It's like genuinely more egregious. When I was watching this, I was like, man, this is somehow, the world building is more cohesive than Minority Report, because Minority Report has like giant towers where their cars hook into the side and they go inside, and then the cars come undone and go down the building. And I'm like, but how do all of the cars in a row do this? And what the fuck what is this? Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah. It's a cool idea.
Cool concept.
Right. There's a lot here that's just like, it's a cool concept, which works well in like fantasy. But when you're trying to kind of ground something in some science thought, it falls apart. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to just kind of like dig into the individual parts. But yeah, my third time watching, I think I enjoyed it more than I did previously. I think it's the first time I just walked away being like, what the fuck was that? And it was like, that was too long and I don't really know where I went. And I think the second time I was already like angry and rewatching it. And this time I was like, all right, let's try.
Why'd you watch it the second time? What you're angry? Did somebody drag you?
He was on a plane. There weren't a lot of options.
No, it actually probably was only like a year or two after I had watched it the first time. Both of them would have been like that way back in college. And I think it was that somebody else had wanted to watch it because everyone had said like, oh, it's this great, Spielberg movie and it bombed, but it's actually really, really good. And people are coming back around to appreciating it, which I feel like at the time everyone said it was terrible, but when I looked and I couldn't find reviews that said it was terrible, I was kind of surprised that if you look at the track record on the internet, it looks like everyone thinks it was pretty good to now great.
I don't really trust that anymore.
But I really feel like at the time people thought it was bad, so I'm a little lost.
I think that's true. I think that there probably is something, but like we read the reviews for Disclosure Day and people were like, it moved me. I'll never forget my time with Disclosure Day. And it's just like, no, like that person lives in a different world when they watch something like that.
I do think critics are way too forgiving of Spielberg, and I don't know why that is, but they seem to not hold him to the same standard that they do other directors. And I don't know if it's like, well, people are going to say I'm like a downer for not liking the Spielberg film that everybody likes, or if it's this, auteur thing that they think of Spielberg as this, great director or this powerful director that can, have sway over the industry that they don't want to fuck with. Or I don't really know what it is, but like critics will be very blunt about their distaste for movies from other famous directors, but it seems like not to that same degree with Spielberg, unless it's just like Indiana Jones 4 and they're just like, okay, like let's move on to something else.
That never happened.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think every Spielberg thing is kind of flawed, but it just gives the right vibes. Like the big ones gave enough good vibes that he's still just riding on those. Like I like Hook, but I know it's terrible. Like it's absolutely terrible. But like I enjoy the vibes when I'm in it, right?
Yeah. He knows how to make like it's a schmaltz, or he knows. I was talking with Dixon about this outside. It was like outside of the podcast where you were saying, I don't know what Kubrick sees in the guy, or like what Kubrick saw.
Yeah, he
Kubrick
seemed to
held, like,
view
a reverence.
Spielberg as
Yeah.
like a really good filmmaker, and I'm just surprised because they are not anywhere at the same level technically at bare minimum.
I think it's just like a difference
Yeah,
in
but,
style
like,
and like the way that Spielberg tries to wield his cinema technicalities and like pushing certain technologies forward. He's less meticulous and he's much more like, I'm just going to do a bunch of shit and try to see what works or what sticks. And like that experimentation now kind of
Right.
breaks down because he's beginning to forget about all like the different story. Like Jaws had a pretty gripping character base and story and plot and premise to it. Indiana Jones, like same thing. Like those movies have a lot of drivers, and then it's covering up all the cinema technicality and like what he's trying to do. AI starts with that like sweeping shot where they're like bouncing the camera back and forth in that conference room, talking with all these people, and you feel the motion of like the conversation is fluid through the cinema language. It's really nice. And then it cuts to like a 1-2, and it feels like masterfully kind of orchestrated in the way that it's trying to do that. And then as we kind of wade deeper into the movie, things get like really messy first story, and it becomes more focused on like what kind of cool visuals can we make here, or like how can the score be better here? What really makes sense for this one? There were certain shots that I was like, that's a really cool composition, but spliced in between like kind of flat shots of other things that are really mundane.
Which, yeah, and I think that Spielberg's success is that the technology in Jurassic Park, right, and some of those like big scenes are really gripping, and then yes, and then there's a good written Michael Crichton story underneath it, right?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, the like beach scene, it's this amazing, epic technical scene again. And then it also happens to have really good writing underneath it,
Yeah.
right? And like Indiana Jones has a lot of these like fun, taken from serials, fun epic large fights or whatever that get in there, but it has a good heart underneath it, right? That I think those things that end up making it actually fully rounded don't really have anything to do with Spielberg. And I think that's where he ends up being hit or miss, is because like fucking Hook and Goonies, the budget on like full boats, like gigantic boats that these kids are on doing these crazy things, but they're really basic scripts. They're really stupid when you sit down and like look at them.
Yeah, he goes for that sense of spectacle and fun. He is like the previous generation Christopher Nolan, even though they're, like not too far apart in what they've made and how they try to make stuff. But like they go for that, they lean into the schmaltz and then use that to leverage like what kind of spectacle they can weigh up. I guess that's what I was thinking of when I was like trying to, speak to the point of like why Kubrick might follow or like him in the same way that Scorsese or like, I'm sure even Tarantino have plucked certain directors in their mind. Like Tarantino has Italian directors beyond just Leone that he has sort of noted as being really interesting in what they were trying to do. But if you watch their movies, they're not particularly impressive unless you are looking for that. I'm guessing that's kind of the same thing Kubrick had, is like, this is, an artist to another artist. I like some of the strokes that you're making in your paintings kind of thing.
There are some shared qualities between Spielberg and Nolan, but Spielberg has never considered fucking a clock. And I'm pretty sure Nolan does that like at least twice a day.
Hey, broken clocks fuck twice a day.
Hey.
Oh. But yeah. Well, let's talk about the beginning of this. We break this into like 3 chunks here because we have 3 essential acts, which is just boy at home, boy in the woods, boy in the future.
Sharks in the future.
Boy goes in the cage, cage goes in the water, aliens dig up the water when it's frozen. I feel like the opening of this movie, I was very well gripped by it. I found it interesting. Maybe it's because I'm coming immediately from Disclosure Day where I had no attachment to anything going on, and it was annoying to watch the opening of that movie. It tries to be too action-packed, Ryan, but this one started with like a philosophical conversation where it's just in the middle of a boardroom and people were talking about robots, and they show very subdued moments where they're like, oh yeah, like the robot's pain receptors do this and like stab a woman's hand. And there's like a bunch of that's just like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. And her face comes off, and, the CG hasn't aged the best, but it was still pretty impressive to see what they were trying to do. and having everybody kind of go around and say like, well, what are we really trying to do with these robots? What's going on next? And like the philosophical debate being introduced by this Steve Jobs, Bill Gates style guy who's just like, we're going to make child robots, and they're going to learn how to love, and they're going to grow from that love. And he doesn't ask any other questions or have any other demands for them. He's not like they're going to grow along with the humans or anything. He's just like, they're just going to learn how to do this, and it's going to be great.
He literally says they'll stay perpetually young.
Yeah.
He's like that's a good thing.
Like, this is great,
I guess.
Yeah, see, that's where it's like it didn't oversell its hand, because this dude, he like, the big twist or reveals that he lost his son, and that was part of the reason why that's probably fueling it. But it would have been over the line if he was like, they'll never grow old, like looking at a photo of his son or something. That would it would have been like kind of funny, unfortunately.
Well, he has to come across as like the suave businessman, CEO,
like he's doing it for
whoever
investments.
he is in this meeting, and
he's like they'll never grow old, and he looks over at his older son, who's like part of the company now that he looks down on.
They'll never grow old to
disappoint. He grew up a disappointment.
It's amazing. Yeah, that would have been like way too over the line or whatever he's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think William Hurt is very good in that scene. I think that's one of the few like strong performances in the movie, and he's not in it much outside of that opening scene. I think his performance in the rest of the movie is probably not as good as that opening scene, but I did find the scene frustrating because they act like it's going to be a philosophical conversation, and then it's not, right? And he's talking about all these things. Right. Oh, we're going to make these kids that can love, and one of the only times I laughed in the movie was when this guy's like, but what are you talking about? We send out sex robots all over the world every day. And somebody's like, yeah, you would know. And he was like, quality control is very important. Okay.
Right.
It's a great bit.
But then, this woman asks like, hey, you're saying you can create robot children that can love humans. Like, what type of obligation does that place on those adults to love those robots back? And he's like, that's a great moral question, isn't it? And then they just cut.
Well,
he basically just kind of throws it away, and it shows that the company has never considered this, which is just, okay, is it believable that a big, massive robot company would just throw away all ethical questions immediately and never consider them? Sure. Definitely believable. But like, it just seems weird that they would kind of call that out, and then like the question's been raised, like, hey, this is a concern, this is a business risk for us. How do we consider, how this works and plan it into our business model, how we program these things? And you're just like, cut. And then like next, it's live. 18 months later or whatever, we have human child robots now.
We're dropping it off. Well, he does answer that question with a affirmative dismissal, where he's like, did God like create Adam so he could like love Adam? Basically, says something to that degree. Where he's
I don't
just like,
think that is in the Bible.
Yeah, he's just like, why did God create Adam? Like, if not for having like man love God in some way. And I was like, that's a pretty brutal assertion too, to just be like,
God was lonely.
God just fucking wanted to do something, and God didn't really care. He doesn't necessarily need to love anything back. And I think that sets the tone for the rest of the movie, because it's really just like, I don't know what was going on in like the late 90s, early 2000s with like maybe it's Y2K or some shit, but like, to bring it, Bicentennial Man has the same shit where they're just like, we're just going to make these robots and we're not going to ask any ethical questions. And the movie just lets you feel out what happens to the robots as a reflection of that. And so I kind of looked at it as like this weird twisted parable where it's almost like the initial story that's based on was asking like, what if Geppetto really just had no regard for Pinocchio, like at all, just didn't give a shit. He always just wanted to build the toy, very nihilistic approach to it. And then Pinocchio did get like somewhat of his agency, and Geppetto was like disgusted and wanted him gone. Or like in this case, Geppetto being a combination of like the family that inherits the child and the actual creator of it. But that was kind of how I saw it. And so the rest of the movie made more sense to me as like this weird cautionary tale that I feel like it's rated PG-13, and for me that says like it's going to be heightened action and intense, and it
should have been rated R, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would think.
Not saying that they got the rating wrong, but like the movie would have been better if it was R rated.
Yeah, that was like there was a lot of dark shit that just needed that because it was very much trying to push beyond the limits of what PG-13 had, and it's not for families. Like all the shit that fucking David sees, not shit that kids need to see. No. You don't need to take your family to see this. It's really fucked up shit for the adults to think about. And that's hammered again and again every time that David's put into danger, and seeing Haley Joel Osment's character, like he just has like a meltdown over like small things and big things and like dangerous things. And it's because of the fact that he is a robot and has no agency or control over those aspects. He's just a slave to his programming. Is fucking horrifying as a film. And that was like what I saw the point being. So that initial like philosophical debate where he just shrugs it off and goes, it doesn't really matter why, or if we need to care if we love it back or not. It's kind of evidenced by the end of the movie too.
Right.
But it's also like, to what end are we saying it? Because the movie doesn't really seem to demonize anybody in the external world. It seems like this weird parable that's just told to scare you or spook you out in some way.
Yeah.
Like, is a CEO supposed to see this movie and be like, we really shouldn't make these decisions to push these barriers?
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Cause me as a person on the street, I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up, but I wasn't going to build a boy robot. I wasn't going to make these like ethical bullshit decisions. So yeah, I felt like it set the tone, right?
Yes. I think that like, so it's based on a short story. Bicentennial Man also based on a short story, both of them sci-fi stories from the 70s. Which had a boom, right? As computer technology jumped in the 70s, there's this boom in sci-fi of, and Asimov wrote The Bicentennial Man. Obviously, iRobot and like tons of Asimov stories really, he does a good job of jumping into like, what will this computer technology do? And if it becomes smart, do we need to put rules on it? Or how do we define when it becomes something more, right? So there's a lot of thought in those sci-fi stories. And I think in the 2000s, you see with the boom of the internet, again, another like people kind of opening up to like, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean for us? And trying to answer that. I think the 2000s movies are also trying to make a shit ton of money. So they don't do a good job of like trying to actually think about it or answer it. They just throw it out there and then put a spectacle in front of you. Cause that was like a prime time to get butts in seats, right? Like the 90s and early 2000s are when you could sell tickets to movies easy.
Yeah. And they're also riding like this high of optimism, like American exceptionalism, post-racial. We're doing everything great. We have the first black president with Bill Clinton. And we're doing great, everybody. It's going to happen. 9/11 hasn't happened yet. So let's...
Yeah. But like, I mean, you mentioned Minority Report, which is kind of, I think comes out after this, right? It's on the heels of this. Also based on a 70s short story that actually explores and really tries to think about the like scariness of that, being able to predict something and what's crime, like when does crime begin. That movie's just fucking spectacle. Like it doesn't actually answer the question well at all. And the things it changes actually make it worse to, philosophically to think about.
So we have this, it's just, I mean, the opening is strong from a performance standpoint, from a technical standpoint, but like both Dixon and I clearly have a different interpretation of what it was going through. And I was like, it seems like it's setting up to be just a straight up dark tale. It doesn't give a shit. But it is kind of incohesive in the way that like, it is kind of teasing that philosophical, maybe we'll get into it. And then it doesn't really. Instead, it's just like, no, it's this kid's story. And you're just going to go with this kid and watch him be fucking weird for the first act. And,
it's the tone in that first act where like they bring the boy home. It's just so weird. Like, first of all, the parent characters are written horribly. So I don't know that we can blame the actors too much, but like the performances are really bad. Clearly the studio didn't want to pay for Sally Field. So they got whoever this is to play the mom. And it's just, I don't know. The performances are not convincing at all. The mother is really upset that her son is in a coma and like not able to get past that. She's going in to see him constantly, and her husband kind of wants her to move on with her life. And so he brings home the robot child, and she's like understandably terrified at first. And the kid just keeps popping up in random places. And for some reason, every door in this fucking house looks like the door to like a legal office with like distorted glass on it. Like I kept expecting there to be like words scrawled on it, like, you know, office of so-and-so, attorney at law. And there's that scene where he's inside of his bedroom and looking outside of that weird glass, and it makes him look like he has like 6 eyes. It's just so disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, who designed this fucking house? This
It's like
is so
like
weird.
a fever dream house, and everything in like Act 1 up until their actual son Martin wakes up is shot like soft focus, like that dreamy lens, and it just makes it feel weirder every time that it happens, like every time something happens between them, or it's just like they're starting to bond with him. They're in like the honeymoon phase, and the movie's clearly conveying that, but it feels so weird to see the way that it's happening with the visual language of it and some of the frame shots, and the fact that they keep just like leaving him in places, and he's like, is it a game? Like, is this a thing? He's just asking questions to try to figure out the world. This is another like pre-2000s, like they didn't know how technology worked, because like both this and Bicentennial Man have this thing about the robots needing to learn from resources near them. Where like, I think in Bicentennial Man, he literally reads books to get knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's like now that's like so antiquated because you just download whatever, like this concept of the digital era. And this kid just has no knowledge. They didn't preload any memories or teach him how to do anything. He has one memory, and it's of like a falcon or some shit with its wings spread, which we learn later is just like the logo of the company.
We didn't trust Wikipedia.
Yeah, we weren't yet ready to trust that the internet would have all the resources we needed. But yeah, like all those sequences where he's like laughing at them, that scene was like terrifying.
Oh my God.
That was like an Ari Aster movie.
And somehow that is what
it almost is horror movie.
Somehow that is what endears the mother to the kid. It's like the scariest laugh you've ever seen, and all of a sudden they're like, "Isn't this great? We're a family now." Like, what the fuck? And then immediately after that, she decides to do the imprinting process. Like, there's just no. She's horrified, then has a laugh at the scariest thing I've ever seen, and then just imprints herself on the kid, and off we go.
You know, all right, I'm ready to poke some holes here too, because the imprinting process, I've got questions.
Yeah, irreversible. There's no reset function on these fucking things.
Yeah. You know, that's like planned obsolescence.
Does the dad not do it? The dad doesn't get to do it, right?
Doesn't she say their names at the end? She's like, whatever her name is, and David something, and or like, oh, it's
Henry is
Henry.
Her and
Henry.
I remember that because he never calls him dad. He calls him Henry the entire movie, but he calls her mommy every time.
That's so weird.
This robot has a weird Oedipus complex.
It really is set up to be a horror movie in that, but also like, you're telling me that you're going to mass manufacture these child toys, send them out to people with written instructions. That's basically reading from the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Tell them to touch the back of the child's head and say all of these words. There's not even like a young children's story that you would read him or something while you're pushing the button. It's just...
You have to Manchurian candidate him.
Just fucking weird. A whole weird process. Don't get me wrong. I think that like part of what works for this movie for me is just like, there's enough weird shit happening everywhere that my suspension of disbelief can't be disassembled. Like it can't be like disregarded, because I'm just like, oh, it's all somewhat cohesive in that it all feels like I'm having a nightmare, and it will just keep going on until it's done. Like everything felt aesthetically the same. So it's like they show flying cars here and there, but they never get you into any of them. The family drives on like a 3-wheel weird fucking thing.
Yeah, all the cars are tricycles now.
Yeah, that I don't know what that is, but like, okay, sure. They look futuristic and they consistently use them. The houses are fucking weird, massive sets. Like that house set was impressive, even though it is like a law office.
Yeah.
There's like several noirs happening in that floor.
For sure. There's maybe a PI agency in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a dentist, who knows?
Yeah, and then like learning through that, like all the other things that David starts doing, trying to learn, which is where Haley Joel Osment's acting really comes in clutch, because it's like they don't really try to use a lot of sound effects to sell that he's a robot. There's not like a whirring or hum. I think about like Ex Machina, which kind of needs you to know, like, the sound design is great in that movie. But Bicentennial Man, every time Robin Williams blinks his eyes, they make a little sound so that you know he's a robot no matter what, even if he looks like Robin Williams. And like this just didn't do it. It was all Haley Joel Osment's like expressions and the way that his eyes moved and like how his head cocked around really fast. It's like very impressive in selling you that this is not a child, even though what you're seeing looks like a child. It's not. And it only builds that tension.
Supposedly he never blinks like until the end.
That's crazy. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's one of those like trivia things is that he never blinks. And that's one of those like maybe subliminal things that you kind of get an uncanny
That
sense
sounds like torture.
without actually knowing
for the child? Jeez.
Yeah, like
for the
that's
kid.
terrible.
Yeah. That cut, you blinked.
That's
Read it
the
again.
Kubrick bleeding through.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
The
right.
Clockwork Orange aspect of this movie. There's somebody just out of camera with eye drops at all times.
I'm trying to think of all the weird shit that he does trying to bond with this family, because it's like he does that laughing shit. He asks a lot of weird questions. At one point, he asks a very sweet question, which is when he's comprehending that everybody else is going to die and that he'll go on, which is like, I feel like this movie just opens those doors and it eventually walks through them, but not through like some, hey, think about that. It's more just like, no, and then it happened. Like we like flash forward a lot of time and she's dead. Like, oh, sorry about that. But there's no like, I don't know, come to it moment in Act 2 where he's meditating on that more. Mm-hmm. It's just at the beginning, he asks a lot of questions that the audience is supposed to retain. And then he just sort of plows ahead with his life. And then at the end, we're confronted with the answers, which are all weird and fucking unhinged. But yeah, his mom is like, yeah, I mean, like, I'll live a good long life. I have like 50 years left. And then he doesn't even ask like what the concept of time is or how long he'll live or any of that. It's just done. Now they're gone.
Well, he asked the most relatable character in the movie, Teddy, the robot teddy bear.
I love Teddy.
Is just trying to survive.
Teddy's great.
the whole movie.
Teddy, it's weird that Teddy is so supposedly obsolete and old, because Teddy seems like the wisest motherfucker in this whole movie.
The only one that has any idea what's
and he's
going
always
on.
just like, I'm looking for David.
Time.
What's...
Yeah, he asked Teddy, like, is 50 years a long time? And Teddy's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it. But yeah, I love it. Teddy is just so practical, and he's always like, don't do that. You will break.
Yeah. That was the other thing was like, this movie's just flexing a lot of different practical muscles at all times, because Teddy has animatronics in him. But I'm also pretty sure Teddy's stop motion for certain sequences.
He's like a mix of a bunch of but like a lot of puppetry and animatronics that they use for him most of the time. But yeah, he has a little computer animation too.
Yeah, just getting to see him.
Yeah, Teddy's pretty awesome.
Does not seem like he would be very comfortable to, cuddle with if you're a child. He seems like he's just like hardcore, animatronics in there with like a thin layer of fur on the outside.
Yeah, he's like small soldiers.
He also looks like that, like old teddy bear, like original teddy bear that wasn't like that soft.
Yeah, full of asbestos.
the best asbestos.
Yeah. It's probably like stupid heavy.
Yeah.
Like, right. It's like unnecessarily heavy, like for a kid that can't even hold it because it's like 80 pounds of technology.
But there's like all these sequences of setting up David's life. He's going to have, what is it? The mom's trying to learn. She's learning the hard way through all the ethical problems of having a child that's a robot, because she's like, just go do like anything else. And he's like, well, I don't sleep. She's like, okay, well, like just lay quietly, I guess. And like, go to your room and like play with toys. And he like doesn't really know how to play. So she's like, here's Teddy. He'll fucking do whatever for you. Yeah. She's trying to like helicopter parent him.
Again, the design, they could do whatever they want to design the robot, right? Like, it's insane. The whole that whole part to me is just crazy. Like that, again, like not thought through.
I would think that robot would come with like a charging bed or something that he would have to sleep in order to like get charged to be able to work the next day, or
it's just programmed that like it's nighttime. It just knows to go sit in the room. Like, why do you have to tell it what to do?
When to sleep. They never, you would think there would be outlets or something inside in the robot that they would make a point of showing you, like, oh, this is a robot because he's got plugs or something.
Apparently they gave it an infinite battery.
Yeah, he has like a nuclear reactor in there. Who knows what could happen?
Right.
If David eats spinach for 5 seconds longer, he's gonna fucking explode. Take this whole family with him.
But yeah, they're like, once it's imprinted, you can only incinerate
That
it.
was
right. They're like,
you can take it back, and
there's
they
no
also
takesy
don't like add
backsies.
any euphemisms. They're like, we're gonna fucking take him out back and blow his goddamn brains out. They'll be all over everywhere.
Right.
Like, they just make it sound so harsh. They're like, yeah, he'll just be destroyed completely, bit for bit. And you're like,
But that sounds like bad design as
Yeah.
well. I'm like, that's this whole like it's so expensive to make one of these things, and then it like locks onto one human, and that's it, and you have to like completely destroy it. I would think you could just at least take its head off.
That
or
they're gonna
something,
just
right?
melt
Like,
him
you
down
have to
or
really destroy the whole.
They
thing.
would have to
they
install
gotta
some
melt him
sort
down
of
entirely.
disable function, like, oh, this doll's turned to evil. You gotta be able to flip it
You
to
would
off,
think.
Yeah.
and then take it back to the manufacturer where they can reset it and resell it to someone else.
that was,
It's just-
they
Like like even Megan has that. Like Megan, they can turn on. It's just hard to get a hold
Yeah.
of Megan. That's the problem.
They set that up too with like a bunch of the other open doors. Like one is where the dad is like, if he's capable of love, he's capable of hate too. And you're like, okay, all right, when is this going to come into play?
Right.
And it's like,
Nope.
not
Is this an argument for
Yeah.
not having
not
children?
until
at
the
all?
end of the movie when he hates being not the only David. That's the only time that his hatred really comes into play. He doesn't kill anybody until then. He doesn't hurt anybody. He doesn't help anybody. He just kind of wanders around being a lost kid.
he hurts people by accident.
Yes, that's right. By trying to self-preserve, he like drowns drowns Martin for a little bit. And you know what? We all reveled in that
Or
moment.
just being tricked by Martin to go cut off a lock of
and
not
almost
Sally Field's hair.
stabbing, almost stabbing her in the eye with scissors because
Yeah.
he waited too long. It's just like, David, come on, man. Learn how to learn. I don't know. But yeah, that whole first act is like just the slow burn setup until it finally becomes like she's going to take him back. She decides, well, Martin comes out of it.
Yeah, I want to talk about when Martin comes back.
Let's talk about that.
So she's distraught, right? When he's in the hospital and she's like trying to deal with the fact that she has this new robot child and she's going through all of this shit. And then she gets a frantic call from her husband in a horrifying scene where Haley Joel Osment decides to project
His
the
cool
phone
new
sound
feature.
in speakerphone through his mouth.
Out of his
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And then finally she's able to like wrestle the phone away from him and talk to Henry, and he's like, holy shit, oh my God, well, you're never gonna believe this. And then they just cut to Martin's home now, and she's just so fucking casual about her son who's been in a coma for years, ? And he's just now at home, back to living his normal life, seems super healthy aside from some
He's in
leg
an
braces.
exoskeleton, yeah.
But she's just like, oh, great, and my son's back. And then she's just like, all right, I'm just going to do housewife things. And like, this is just batshit writing. Like, this character is just so poorly constructed. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Especially here's our robot son we got while you were
Right.
away. I don't need
Not
to
a
deal
lot
with
of
that.
explanation going on there. No serious conversation with Martin about his new weird brother. Like, yeah.
What also, like, there's so many things that I would love for this movie to have like explored more or had like, the mom could have a conflict of she's talking to the dad and she's like, you know what? I actually think I like David more than I like our son because our son's a little piece of shit. Like, she could have some conversation about
He's a
that
little
where
punk.
she's developed a favoritism for the robot that's much more appeasing to her, that's more sycophantic to
Yes.
her. Like, that's an interesting, you're replacing some emotional connection, and like the parenting is actually supposed to make the child better, not just the child should always be perfect kind of thing. But the movie's like, she's like, no, he's just kind of jealous, right? Like, he's just a jealous boy. He'll grow out of that phase, and we're going to let him play with knives and matches and whatever the fuck else Martin wants to do because he's alive. There's like very minimal parenting, and it's just her parenting David. Or they show that like Martin, and that's the first establishment of how shitty of a person Martin is for like his character is just that he sets him and David up next to each other, and then he sets fucking Teddy on the other side, and they do like they treat Teddy like a dog. They're like, come to me,
They take Airbud
come on here, Teddy,
Come here, Airbud.
come over here. And then Teddy's like, fuck this, and runs directly to mom, which is just a great. Teddy's character is the most well-rounded of all of
Oh,
these.
yeah.
So
He's
seasoned,
seen
so
some
bristled.
shit. Nothing phases Teddy.
This is worse than when Martin put me in the litter box. And like, fucking whatever.
But like, that's a scene where the mom should have been like, oh, my son and this robot are having some adjustment problems. I need to like sit down and have a conversation with them, and we need to like reset kind of the family dynamic here. And she's just like, oh, Teddy, are they being mean to you? And she just grabs him, takes him out of the room. And she's like, oh, you know, her husband brings up like, hey, they seem to be having problems. She's like, oh, they're brothers. They're supposed to be competitive. Like, the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, it does start to feel like when they write these sequences, you have when you sit down and you're writing that and you're like asking the question of like, and then what would happen? Like, because of this, why would they do that? And it seems like anytime somebody asks, what would happen because of this? Their answer was, the darkest fucking shit we can make happen. Let's do it. We're going for that. So it was just like, oh yeah, let's, instead of resolving that, let's just escalate it and go to a pool party where there's other pieces of shit kids like Martin, and they're all going to get around and be like, oh, David, you're a fucking robot. Let's feel your body. Just a weird scene to see them be like, oh, this is really cool. Wow, he feels really smooth. And then they're like, let's stab his hand. He's got DOS. Like,
yeah, which I thought they were talking about the operating system.
Yeah, it's running MS-DOS. Yeah, like then that just leads to David choking out Martin into the pool. And I was like, I knew that something like this was going to happen. I just didn't know. I thought for most of the movie it would be like a family drama. And then when that happened and it was like, nah, the mom has decided it's too much effort to like keep this robot around.
Yeah.
Again, the darkest thought and a very cynical take, and in an R-rated movie, probably where you have somebody who can explore deeper, mature themes and target an adult audience better explored. Here, this is part of the Pinocchio fable, and it's almost like having a wooden doll around in a house would have caused fucking splinters for kids. So let's dump Pinocchio in the woods.
Yeah, you talked about euphemisms earlier. She like literally takes him to a farm upstate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She's almost on the way. She's almost at the compound for the company, and she's like, I'm gonna take him back. Then she gets a twinge of like weakness because even though he's a robot, he calls her mommy, and he's really like, she's like got a soft spot for that. So she's just like, well, it's just better if I leave this immortal child out in the woods to live alone, completely devoid of the parental love he seeks. It's just like
it absolutely is the like cliche of driving a dog into the woods, right? And then just leaving it, and which is horrible, right? Is that like, well, we can't have the dog in the house, but they're not a human, so we don't really owe them anything. So we just let them in the woods, and we're like, well,
deal.
I didn't kill it, but you did. You did. You just didn't directly have to deal with it.
She does the most cruel thing possible, right? Like she thinks she's being kind by not taking him to be decommissioned, but he's just stuck to like search endlessly for her love as long as possible and endure never-ending pain in trying to accomplish that.
Which it would have been better if she'd have gone out there, sat him down, and been like, wait here, don't move, and then left him, than being like, just don't go that way, and then just fucking
also avoid the flesh fairs. Don't go to the flesh fairs.
Avoid the flesh fair.
Oh, yeah, don't go to a flesh fair. You don't know what that is. She randomly
is like, they will try to find you. Don't let them. It's like there's like the worst 3 laws of robotics ever. To avoid the flesh fairs. They will try to find you. Don't. And just
don't
leave.
Go that way.
Don't go that way.
Don't go that way.
As half-baked as the rest of the story itself. That whole sequence, again, Haley Joel Osment fucking killing it the entire time that he's doing the performance. I believe the emotions that he's feeling, and it's like this really harrowing sequence for him. But the circumstance under which that's being told is somebody just making choices in the story for the sheer fact that they are the darkest choices to continue to push him down this other path. And then it's just him and Teddy, which also like, she just doesn't even acknowledge. She's like, you're just going to have Teddy with you. Teddy will just be... Teddy didn't sign up for this shit.
Teddy's like, what do I need to know? Do I need to worry about the flesh fairs?
Teddy knows. Teddy knows.
Teddy already knows.
Teddy knows.
And then from there, it's just like, he just runs, and we cut to the Jude Law sequence, right? Isn't that like, it just goes right into...
Yeah.
Then we cut to movie number 2.
Yeah, welcome to Sexville, population Jude Law, and all the other people.
This is the role that Jude Law was born to play. He should never do anything else other than be a weird, sexless sex robot.
It's like reading the trivia, and they're like, oh, they had to make his skin like more glistening, and I'm like, no, I bet they I bet it was the other way around, and they just say trivia-wise, they're like, we actually had to make Jude Law look slightly more human because it wasn't believable.
Jude Law is a mannequin that's come to life as a real boy, and they're trying to now capture that in this role.
Yeah, and he's in the middle of about to have sex with somebody, right? That's like how we meet him is he's telling her that she deserves it. She's never been with anybody like him before because man made robots to be better than man. And he's using the sex as an argument, which I was like, you know what? Fair point.
You deserve to get fucked by a robot.
Yeah.
Like you've never been fucked before. You'll never go back to a real man again.
It would have been funny if it was just like built up backhanded compliments the whole time. And he's like, my God, have you seen yourself? You deserve nothing but robots. Like, just fucking ripping. Just a cynical robot asshole.
You also deserve butt robots.
Yeah. But yeah, we find out there's like love motels and there's like, what do they call them? What the fuck are the hounds that hunt him? I don't fucking know. Flesh hounds, flesh pirates.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Some shit. The fleshers. I hate that term. I hate the use of flesh in this movie.
It also opens up whole new so he has like a license to be a gigolo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's
right?
Gigolo
like
Joe.
they even go
That's
over that.
Name. I forgot.
Yes,
he does like a
he's
little Fred
yeah.
Astaire thing in the shadows at one point. It's like Gigolo Joe.
Yeah.
Do a little dance.
Haley Joel Osment's like, why do you do that? He goes, it's just what I do.
Yeah.
Like favorite character.
They must have created him to be a gigolo robot, right? But then he has to keep up his license to be a sex robot.
It's like the inspection the admissions grade. Like you don't want to be pumping like your fake jizz or whatever. I don't know how that works. But
Yeah.
Oh, you have to go get checked. He has to get checked.
Is it his responsibility to keep up his license? Does he have to go to continuing education in order to keep that license? If his license expires, what happens?
He has to go to the DMG, the Department of Motor Gigolos, to get it renewed.
If you have sex with an unlicensed robot, is that a crime for you, for the person to commit? So many questions.
There's so many legal implications of this whole movie.
Is he owned by somebody who runs this motel? Is it that person's responsibility to keep up the license? I don't fucking know.
Or it's like a taxi company of gigolos.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's an app that you get a gigolo and they have their own models.
He talks about getting paid, but I would imagine that currency is useless to him.
Like, for what? Yeah, he can't eat. He doesn't need power, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, again, so many questions about how or why or what. And all that is answered is just that he's a gigolo. That's all you need to know. It's just what he does.
He's programmed to fuck for money. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't need to use the money for anything, but it's just like what drives it.
They needed to have a Mephistopheles character.
It's like the other way around. It would be illegal if it didn't involve money.
Robots are not allowed to fuck for pleasure.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's against the law. That's
it opens up too many questions. Man. It's just a monetary thing.
Oh God!
Do you think they have sex robots that you can imprint yourself on, and the sex robot will then only be attracted to you? That's what obsession is essentially.
That's fucking. That's got to be like the hardest imprint ever too, because I'm sure that they're like, you just have to have sex with them and hold them this way and say these things while you're doing that. It's like just. It's the most awkward.
You have to say these words.
Like, what do they do for the rest of the day? Like, right? They sit around with no other purpose the rest of the time.
You have to say specific words as you climax. And if you don't do it as you climax, it doesn't lock it into
you have to Manchurian candidate while you climax. No, you have to bring them to climax and say the words. It's a very tricky process. There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in this sequence where it's like, oh, the world's really opening up because you have the fucking weird, they go to the, what the fuck is it? This is before they get to the city because they're not even out of there. They have to go to the flesh circus or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, he shows up for his gigolo job and the lady's dead.
That's right. And there's a dude there.
I guess because her husband got jealous. It's not really
He's
clear.
like, this is the last time you're going here to have sex with Gigolo Joe. And
then that is just never brought up again. And it means nothing for the plot of the movie whatsoever.
It just gives them a reason to have Gigolo Joe need to run from people.
Yeah.
guess.
but like it seems
Except-
like there could have been a more natural way to get him involved in the flesh fair.
It's like right before that.
He's a prostitute. He can get into the flesh fair in other ways.
Well, they just pick up. Do they even check the robots? Like they just pick him up and take him to
Well,
the flesh
they
fair.
talked
I
about
guess they would
checking
like
them.
scan his ID and be like, "Oh, he's legal," and send him out.
No,
is
they
the
talked
problem.
about.
Well, but it's their script. They could just make them fucking assholes,
They
right?
They talked about how they don't check them for like a.
There's no reasoning in this anyway.
They don't check
Ryan's
them for
given up
anything.
trying to analyze
Ryan.
this film. It's like
Try
they
to
could have
tell
written
you.
this in a smart way if they wanted, and they chose not to. And I'm done trying to figure this shit out.
Ryan, it's a fable, okay? But also sometimes they did explain
Look,
things.
this thing's like over 2 hours. Like you could have cut that out, and it wouldn't have hurt or made any less sense.
I needed to know what he was doing before he got picked up, and whether or not they have one line where they go.
whose ass it is and why it's farting.
Yes, I need to know that. They have one line when they're picking everybody up where they go, "That looks like a kid," and they're like, it's not a kid. I'm pretty sure all of these are robots. They scan all of them, Ryan, and then they just go, "Yeah, fuck it, they're all robots.
yeah.
Just take them. We don't want an incident like what happened last time," which is like lazy writing number one. Just like,
Right,
they
yeah,
reference
just
that.
allude to something.
Sure, why not? I also love that Gigolo Joe, when he's gonna sleep with that lady, he's like, "Oh, you're crying," and then he like looks at his hand and sees blood on it, and then he gets up and that guy's like says whatever he says to her in his begrudging way and leaves, and then Gigolo Joe goes, "I'm in trouble." It's like all that he says.
I'm in
It's
a
like
tight
the
spot.
end of like a fucking like skit from the 60s or 70s. Like, oh no, it's happened again. Like Gigolo Joe's at it again.
The murderer also then touches the woman's corpse and walks out of the room. Like what? Like you just left your DNA right there on the dead body, and you're
Yeah.
clearly trying to pin this on the sex robot, and the sex robot is too stupid to realize that he has just been exonerated by this guy putting his handprint on this woman's back.
Yeah. Also, like,
we spend absolutely no time on that, but I like totally. My mind is like the cops show up and they're like, "Well, let's see. Her husband's gun was used. His DNA's in this room. Gigolos can't kill people. I guess it was the gigolo, right? Like
It's a racist cop that hates machines.
yeah, he hates machines.
Yeah, he hates robots.
That's exactly what it's going to. Also, like, none of these robots have memory banks. They don't remember any of those things, even though they talked about David having memories. I guess he's the first one that remembers jack shit. But Gigolo Joe remembers people's names, remembers where he's going, probably has a video log.
That's how you be a good gigolo. You got to remember
Discretion.
details about
Yeah,
people.
he knows what his lady's like.
You got to listen.
You gotta learn to listen. Then Gigolo Joe starts running, and then that's when like the really cool shit happens, where they show like all of the he runs out and there's like fucking those dogs like hunting people. The people like the dudes with like Jaws motorcycles.
Yeah,
that shoot
what the
magnets.
I
and
forgot
shit.
about that.
That-
My God, that was weird.
That is probably the only part that seemed visually inconsistent with the rest of the movie. Is it wasn't futuristic enough. It felt like a laser tag arena where dudes drove through things.
It felt like
Yes.
what a 7-year-old would
Yes.
think of as futuristic.
It was like a B movie that like Ryan and
Right.
I have watched from like the 90s.
Right, yeah. The futuristic town that we meet Gigolo Joe in and the town that they go to later are actually like designed and look, kind of like a futuristic. And then they go to just the fucking
Shanty town for robots.
carnival off. Yeah. Well, and it's like, well, then they go to the part that's just like a fucking regular ass carnival. Yeah.
That is the only inconsistent weird thing. It should have been like some technodome where they like a gladiatorial arena, not like an outdoor rodeo in Houston, Texas, where everybody's watching robots be killed and whatever the fuck. But I really do like the reveal of the hunters, because that was just a cool shot when for like seemingly no reason, you're in the middle of all of this, like these robots fucking standing around at this junk pile where they all harvest parts for themselves. And you're like,
Which I assume is bait.
yeah,
was
it's got to be
cool.
bait. It was a cool sequence too.
Yeah.
But it's also like, oh, that's where all the trash goes. And like, this is the waste, all the forest is being polluted, which the movie also alludes to climate change and global warming in it. And it's kind of like an undercurrent of a lot of that shit. So they're like, oh, look at all the waste. Look at all these fucking robots that have been destroyed, like all this trash and everything. And then the moon starts rising and somebody just screams, "Moon!" and then everybody goes, "Oh, fuck, it's the moon." And they start running. And then you notice that there's like a fucking hot air balloon attached, like the little cart attached to the moon. And who would be in that?
You're like, I think I recognize that Irish accent.
Yeah,
Holy
exactly.
shit, it's Brendan Gleeson rounding up all the robots to destroy them at the Flesh Fair.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a crazy sequence where they're just like fucking just chaos everywhere. These motorcyclists driving through the streets. It is such a weird turn, and it feels like a totally different film from the science fiction cities that we'd been part of and the buildings we'd seen. Now it's just like running through all the muck and shanty town stuff and like all these fucking rundown areas and forests, and like the robots are being hunted and they're hiding, and then it's suddenly revealed that they're all different kinds of robots and they all look super fucking cool, like really crazy designs. Like
what if it has like a human face on a TV?
Yeah, he's like a Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yeah.
like a guy that
Yeah.
they cloned Lyndon Baines Johnson. Like took that JFK one out of commission probably as soon as he came online.
Fortunately, he doesn't have his pants down, though. like LBJ always did.
They have that other weird one that has a lantern on his back, and he's like a hunchback, and I guess he works in the mines.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know, but he's got a really haunting old man face on front of him. It's like sculpted metal.
Yeah, we get this weird. Okay, so Haley Joel Osment looks like a child because he's supposed to fill that role, right? And then I guess Gigolo Joe, like you want to have sex with a human looking thing as much as possible, right? And there's like a nanny bot that, you know, are like, okay, it's supposed to interact with kids like Megan or whatever, so you try to make it familiar. And then it's that question where you get into like these robots that humans don't interact with that they put faces on for no fucking reason. Like that makes it worse, right? It's like no wonder all the humans here like hate them and want to rip them apart. It's like you put a face on a fucking thing you put in a mine that nobody needs to see.
Yeah, it's like they took our jobs and our faces.
They gave it a personality. Yeah.
Such a fucking weird design.
I mean, I guess like Claude tries to talk to you kind of human-like, so maybe we are
People
doing
try
it
to make that happen.
still. Yeah.
I hate it when people are nice to Claude and like thank Claude or say,
Thanks,
could you
Claude.
please do this for me? Like, no, you fucking tell that thing what to do. Do not thank it. Just take it, berate it when it's wrong. Like, stop being so damn nice to the thing.
It's not going to fucking take over the world. This is some bullshit. Okay? Just fucking start saying gibberish words. If it does, it'll fuck itself up. It's fine.
Also, if it does take over the world, it's not going to look kindly upon you because you were nice to it. It's going to think you're a little bitch and you're going to be the first one that it takes down.
That was the other thing. The lady who's a nanny, the robot that's a nanny, fucking, I know a gimmick shot when I see one. We all recognized they did it twice too. And it fucking annoyed the shit out of me that she runs out of nowhere with her face directly in frame and then turns her head slowly so you can see right through it. And I was like, I get it. I hate that kind of shit. In a movie, it really is the thing that makes me mad where I'm like, oh, cool. This must have happened during a point when we were trying to pioneer some VFX. Now I'm no longer focused on the story. I'm thinking about your bullshit technicalities.
Well, that's like the most Spielberg thing.
Yeah. It's just like,
that's absolutely 100% Spielberg. Like, this is cool. We got this thing. Do it this way.
Really
Gives it
pronounce
the most
it.
lazy in your face
Which
way,
it's like, I forgive the T-Rex in Jurassic Park because that's a cool shot. The T-Rex screaming in the rain with the thunder and stuff. Like, that's a neat VFX.
He does build to it there, at least, I guess.
Then it happens later too, where she like turns again. And I was like, why? We already know she doesn't have you don't have to be like, oh, we can get it in any lighting condition. Like, you're not advertising to me that we can do that. I'm not going to fucking make this movie or something like it. But yeah, like watching all those different robots get rounded up was a wild time. And then they just go, that's when they're like, let's get in on that flesh fair. Let's just fucking go there. And you get this really long, cool shot because of Teddy, where they take Teddy to like the lost and found. And I really liked that walk and talk where that guy's like, how the fuck do I shut this thing up? And he's like, where's David? Do you know David? Like, where is he? It's fucking great. Let's talk about the Flesh Fair. Let's talk about Dixon.
Chris Rock? What the fuck?
For 5 seconds, Chris Rock?
The whole Flesh Fair is just a bunch of like rednecks getting around and getting off on seeing robots getting ripped apart, which, like, again, I can be sympathetic to. I think there's something interesting there, but it's not like they were doing gladiator fights or having some sort of competition for the entertainment of the human audience. It's just like, oh, here's a robot. Let's shoot it out of a cannon into some fire, or let's just rip it apart limb from limb just for fun. And it just seemed like, I don't think that would actually be that fun to watch unless you're just, and maybe there's just so much animosity that's been built up in the society that they just hate these things so much, which is possible. But again, I would think they would want more entertainment out of it, especially they've all come to this stadium. They're like eating hot dogs and popcorn and shit, but they're just like there for the, you know, the robot blood, the oil spill.
Yeah, they want to see them like drawn and quartered, and which one of them gets drawn and quartered, and I was like, oh Jesus, like, like shot through a cannon, acid dumped on them, all like really horrifying things that made me feel bad for the robots. But I was like, but like, why are you showing me this? Because I shouldn't be endeared to it's like weird to endear me to a robot in the way that the movie's trying to do.
Yeah.
It's like this deeper discussion about like, they are still tools that have been built. They make the appearance that they have sentience, but that's not actually like a thing. You need a deeper conversation about that before you're like, isn't it sad that these people who are played by actors who are actual people look like people and they get dumped acid on? And it's like, no, not really when you think about that. But yeah, it's so weird to witness that. I do say I was reminded of wrestling when but how can you not when you're watching that? But it had that same vibe where they just needed somebody to boo. The one thing that I really would have loved, because of course the crowd, as Dixon said, is mostly people represented as being more blue collar, more redneck, as you might associate them. I wanted a few guys.
It did seem like they were trying to do legit redneck. They all had like country accents and like
that's
overalls
that bullshit.
Yeah.
I would have loved if there was a pocket of like white collar bros who were like, you fucking took my jobs, and like it's like not even the same robot or whatever, but just dudes in ties that get out there and office space it up with some baseball bats or
PC load letter.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. Just like that kind of shit would have been like, all right, we're not trying to do like a classist commentary about like, oh, it's going to take all the blue collar jobs. No, they should take like all the jobs. Like everybody should be mad. And the whole reason that they set this whole flesh fair up is so that they can show that Haley Joel Osment stands above all of them. He's unique. He is a little boy because a little girl finds Teddy in the lost and found box. And then Teddy's like, take me to David. I want to meet David. I want to see David. And then she goes and meets David and is convinced he's a boy as well, tells her dad. And the dad scans him and it's like, does that scene make sense? The dad scans him and realizes he's a robot. And then the dad is like, oh my God, we got to get him out of there.
And this scanning just seems to be like a little blacklight flashlight.
Oh, it's X-ray. He X-rays his daughter for like 5 seconds, just X-rays. Completely unrestricted. Fucking.
So we as the audience know what he's looking for. Someone who does this constantly and has technology specifically.
And they all blame the robots for their cancer.
Make sure it's still working. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, just weird because he's like, oh my God, it's a robot. Like all of them are, and he's like, but he's got to be special because I've never seen one like him before. Custom job.
Yeah, again, I'm like, there's barely any robots that do look so human that you'd have to pull your flashlight out to check. It's like Gigolo Joe and David.
Yeah,
like we almost really never see. I guess the girl at the very, very beginning. So like there must be some. Enough out there of robots that look like just regular humans, and I guess it's just that David is unique because they don't make kids.
Yeah, he even says like, why would they make a kid? Kids. What would be the point of that? Like, great question, buddy. Right. That's a great fucking question.
Asking the big ones. But yeah, then he starts negotiating with Brendan Gleeson for his life, and he's like, you just got to spare this kid robot, and maybe somebody's looking for it. It's a custom job, got to be expensive. There's something else to it, and. Then he lets it doesn't matter. Brendan Gleeson just is like, now fuck it. Let's strap him. And because he's holding Gigolo Joe, let's fuck Gigolo Joe over too. Strap them both to the same cross and get ready to like acid him. And then that one lady in the audience is like, he's a child.
Like
And-
robots don't plead for their
The crowd
lives.
turns so
Yeah,
fast.
the crowd turns too fast.
Yeah.
Like,
so fast. Yeah, it's way too fast. And 100% the crowd turns. Not like enough of the crowd turns. 100% of the
yeah,
crowd
like
turns.
Brendan Gleeson
So
is making
bullshit.
a pretty compelling argument that they have manufactured now a child robot. And he could bring out that X-ray thing and be like, look at this fucking kid. Look at this kid right here. Look what I, just like, I'm telling you, he says, keep me safe, but he's a fucking robot. And he doesn't do that. And instead he just is like, who wants to throw a beanbag at these fucking chuckleheads here? And
Why do they all have beanbags, by the way?
so they could chuck it
To
at the
hit
target.
They do hit the thing.
It's like a dunk tank.
Yeah, to like trigger to drop.
It's an
yeah,
interactive
it's like a dunk
murder.
tank.
They want to like,
Yeah.
But no, like honestly, this crowd it's 100% like they're murdering
Yeah.
dogs, right? Like ripping them apart in front of all the people, and they're all going crazy. And then they bring out a really cute dog, and everyone's like, "Oh, that one's
Look,
too cute!
it's just
Don't
a
do that!"
puppy.
It's like turn instantly.
it hasn't
Yeah, it's
lived
just a
long
puppy.
enough to be murdered.
Like I don't think these people care. would care.
Yeah, that's the only thing where it's just like there could be some other commentary there in a smarter movie that is like, oh, like you could be betrayed by it. Because if all the other robots, including Gigolo Joe, looked somehow way more robotic and less human, and then suddenly it's like, well, when it looks like us, like what do we do? And when it acts like us, what do we do? Like, sure, there's more discussion to be had, but this movie was like, yeah, we don't need that to happen. Just fucking have one person be outraged, and then enough people are like, wait a minute, it looks kind of like a kid from far away if I squint really hard, and it sounds like one. I'm just gonna throw my beanbags at Brendan Gleeson now, and then they all start hitting him with bananas and other shit. I don't know, like
Let he who is without
Do they all
sin
go
cast
home?
the
Like, I
first
wondered.
beanbag.
yeah.
Like, yeah, is that it? Does the show continue after they take David away? Or do
They
all, like,
mobbed
actually go
that
home and
fucking
think about
floor
it? Like,
so fast. It's like, I don't understand what the other thing. Sasha started shouting when they mobbed it. She was like, there's still acid in the buckets. There are still acid in the buckets. And I was like, this crowd doesn't give a shit about that. They're going to fucking
Right.
tar and feather and then acid Brendan Gleeson. And that's pioneer justice. Yeah, that's just, and then after that, like, fucking David just runs with Gigolo Joe, right? That's when they flee to this, they go hitchhiking.
He tells him the Pinocchio story, how he needs to find the blue fairy.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, I can take you to Dr. No. He knows everything. And I was like, are we
Dr.
James Bonding this shit right now? What's going on with this?
I knew somehow it was going to be the pun of Dr. No.
Yeah.
And then they start like fucking hitchhiking, and Gigolo Joe has some sleeves up his trick. He likes to put
Sleeves up his trick?
some sleeves up his trick. He has
Interest-
some-
A gigolo would have some sleeves up his trick.
and he comes over and he's talking to these guys and he's like, hey, you want some of these? I got this like honey isn't that a little honey? And he shows the little hologram and he puts the little lady hologram on that guy's dick. And then all of the bros go, dude, whoa, we could be having that.
That guy, by the way, is the dude from Entourage.
yeah, yeah.
Adrian Grenier, who
what a
plays Vinny
fucking
Chase.
fitting thing. So yeah, Gigolo Joe convinces those bros that they're all going to go on a bro trip to Sexopolis. I don't know what the city's name is, but you enter through like a massive kissy mouth.
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, what else would you call that town?
I
Las
guess it's,
Vegas?
yeah, Vegas or Atlantic City or something. I don't know.
Knoxville, Tennessee. The World's Fair.
Lincoln, Nebraska. How did that happen?
That whole city is insane. And this is where like the movie, sometimes I'm like, all right, you're like, it's not that you're losing me. I'm just like, where is this going to fucking go? And when we got to Sex City, I was like, wow, where could this go? Like, why is Dr. No in the center of like, he's between the spread legs over here and then the kissing mouths fountain there. Don't forget about the groping tower. All of these monuments. Dr. No's square in the middle of it.
Apparently, originally they had a giant dick
Of course they did.
tower, but they decided that was too much.
What? That was too much?
Yeah, that was
That
too
would have
much.
given them the R rating, and they couldn't do that.
That's really what it was.
Yeah, that would have pushed it over. It could only be flaccid.
Yeah.
It's an R if it's
It's
hard.
like the St. Louis Arch.
It's actually automated to follow the sun. It just bends in different directions.
At that point in the movie, you're like, I know this is a Spielberg film, but there's a non-zero chance that David ends up as a sex robot, right?
That was like another where I was like, is David gonna lead a revolution of sex robots? How is this gonna work out? I kind of expected Gigolo Joe to make some joke about being like a standing member in the sex lounge or some shit, whatever fucking club is there. But yeah, that's of course, Dr. No's squarely located between all of these other sexual monuments because the brain is the biggest erogenous zone, as we all know.
No, I was like, they might be doing a literal Oedipus thing here. Like, there's a lot of Oedipal ideas in this movie. But I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to go there.
I mean, I think, didn't Oedipus's family leave him in the woods or some shit too? It's like, there's a whole aspect of that. Where
he was like,
at the beginning as a baby because of the prediction.
That's right.
Yeah.
They like fucking pinned his ankles or some shit and left him out there, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it continued to be this Oedipal shit. And he's like, the Blue Fairy, she's going to do it. Gigolo Joe's always like, I'm going to sex her up so good. She'll tell you whatever you want to fucking know when I'm done with that Blue Fairy.
Yeah, he's like, the Blue Fairy, that's a woman. I know women. I'll take you to women.
I'll take you to women.
Like, one of them will be the Blue Fairy. Just keep fucking him till we find her.
Meanwhile, Tobias had taken a role in a local play in which he would play Peter Pan's Tinkerbell. Thought it was going to be a bold choice to be blue. Like fucking. This is where we intersect, obviously. Then Dr. No, played by fucking Robin Williams, which, cameo spot there, Bicentennial Man himself. Then this is future prediction though, because they pay money to ask questions to Dr. No, who knows everything, but they have to give him the right context, which in fucking 2001 terms means you should see a gigantic floating series of words around you and say which words are the right context and then ask him the right question. And
then you have to combine hard facts with fairy tales to get the answer that you need.
It's like an after school special.
Where's the literal Blue Fairy? I need to know where she is.
Hard facts with fairy tale means that if he'd asked for the green fairy, he'd get absinthe. Is that how that works? I think that's.
I don't know.
I think that's the way it's
preferable.
I like how it implies that those are all the categories that you can ask. Those 5 categories. Yeah. That's all.
Would he have broken Dr. No if he asked for more categories? Like, there's so many ways that Dr. No just seemed like he fucked up, which we don't know at the moment in the movie. But like, Dr. No is compromised by that mega corporation who has given him some kind of guidance to be like, just he'll come here and ask about the Blue Fairy. We found it out from his mother. Just fucking tell him where to go.
Give him some vague poem response that will let the sex robot know where to go.
Some shit about the end of the world, and then if I can figure it out. And then Gigolo Joe's like, oh my God, I know everything.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
That also makes no sense. They thought that he would eventually just stumble upon Dr. No somehow.
Yeah.
That must have had other contingencies, I guess.
And that he would understand what Dr. No was telling him, which isn't like, if he was there by himself, he would have had no fucking idea.
Yeah. It's...
Right. Would he even ask anything that would have triggered it?
But then it does explain the plot hole that I was confused about, because when they emerge from Dr. No, there's suddenly like a SWAT team descending upon them, trying to take Gigolo Joe away. And they are like, well, fuck, whatever. We don't care about the kid or something. But I'm like, okay, that's like a cover, maybe. I don't fucking know. And from there, it got weird because, and I'm curious if you have the same sentiment as me, Dixon.
It's even stupider because you could just be like, if Dr. No gets triggered and finds the kid, it should tell him, if you want the Blue Fairy, stay here for 3 hours. And then they just send a thing to come pick up the kid.
It was an experiment, Ryan. They were monitoring the child.
Think of that part. They wanted to see if he could actually.
Yeah, if he was smart enough to figure it out, that meant that he was a real boy. I don't fucking know.
To both find Manhattan and know where their office was located in Manhattan? Like, what the fuck is...
Fucking bullshit. Yeah, just total bullshit. Something about the crying lion or some shit, and the fucking... I don't know.
Also, why are they in Manhattan? It's like an underwater city where everyone has left because it can't sustain life anymore. Why is there a major office of a robotics company?
Was that? Oh, that was in the future. That was in the future that they were seated there. I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know why they were seated to.
But why would William Hurt be just hanging out in a skyscraper that descends into the ocean.
No, and they're building stuff.
It could collapse.
It's totally like a running factory.
Yeah, it could collapse at any time. The ocean is all around it.
It's hydropowered. It's hydropowered.
No, I guess it's just it's just cheaper. It's cheaper real estate. Yeah, it must be.
Somehow the Twin Towers have survived this, by the way, sticking out of the
my
ocean.
God.
But not.
I just want to know. Yes,
but not the Empire State Building. Did you notice that? Yeah,
oh my God. Yeah, there was a lot of big swings back then that didn't pay off. I will say, just a side note about the Twin Towers and Bicentennial Man. They make mega Twin Towers in the back of a matte painting showing New York. It's like double the size of the Twin Towers. And I was like, wow, they're really banking on that being a thing until like 2030.
That's the sex robot Twin Towers.
I did also see as another side note on Facebook Marketplace, a pamphlet being sold advertising New York City tourist attractions in the 90s. Has the Twin Towers front and center on the front of it, and it says the closest place to heaven. It's just fucking Jesus Christ. That is wild marketing.
Wow.
To look back on. Yeah, this whole scene, I was actually curious, Dixon, if you shared the same disappointment I did. I thought they were just going to murder Gigolo Joe or fucking take him away and it would be done. No Gigolo Joe, no Mo. But they fucking David gets into a helicopter that's unmanned and then he just starts fucking everything up to the point where Gigolo Joe gets in and helps him fly it. And I was like, that was David's one moment to be kind of more like, I don't know, competent or try to do something. And instead they were like, no, we still need Gigolo Joe because he's a little baby boy. He didn't fucking know what he's doing anyway.
They should have just had Teddy take him from there because Teddy was like, hey, this isn't a toy.
Yes. Teddy,
be careful, dude.
Right, yeah.
Teddy could have done any of those things. And I would have much more preferred the darker ending of Gigolo Joe has instilled in him the cynicism of man and the fact that they hate robots and Gigolo Joe's shown him kindness. I feel like it would have made more of a good tear. I know that his programming is that he loves his mom, but just put some fucking rampancy in there and have him be like, well, I really liked this guy, even though I didn't know him very well. He was kind to me and more kind than Henry had been. I don't know, put some conflict there, put some loss, have this kid fucking lose some shit beyond just his family that he thinks he needs. But no, they were like, Gigolo Joe goes with him until Gigolo Joe gets picked up later.
This is why you think it's Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Because he fucking Anakin just gets in a ship and knows how to do shit in it.
That is why I thought it was Jake Lloyd.
He's like, I'm pushing buttons.
Wow,
Look
now
at me.
this is pod racing.
Same fucking Jake Lloyd thing. Yes.
How many people does David kill in his fucking helicopter incident in Sex City? How many people could he possibly mow over with this helicopter flinging around?
More than zero.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that whole sequence is just wild and it completely undoes itself. That's the other thing that I'm typically not a big fan of. If you're going to have a character get captured, commit to it and have them die, be taken away as a permanent thing or something. Just don't be like, oh, Gigolo Joe, because of all the chaos, he broke free and now he's hanging out with you, David. Fly to Manhattan. He knows how to get there. Fuck it. Let Teddy be the brains. Teddy does do anything. Teddy, you know a lot of shit. Surely you know where Manhattan is. But yeah, then that whole sequence where they fly to Manhattan and you get to see everything underwater. Cool. Sure. Interesting, provocative in an era where people were talking about climate change. Now it's kind of like, yeah, sure. We've seen this plenty of times. Roland Emmerich films, everything else. Fuck it. Go to the one building that doesn't look dilapidated somehow and has all these these lion fountains.
And has an airplane hangar built into the side of it like a Star Wars spaceship.
Right.
Gotta have that. Gotta get out of there somehow. And then they come to, that was where it started to get weird because I was like, they manufactured this place to find David because it hasn't even been years, right? Or has it been years? It hasn't been years.
No, it's been weeks.
Yeah,
it can't have been very long.
It's not like a crazy thing that it's been whatever weeks, and then he gets there and there's a door that has the fucking name etched on it. It has the whole phrase or whatever that Dr. No said etched on it, and there's crazy blue lighting coming through it. It looks cool. All the compositional shots, all the things look cool, but who the fuck did this and why is this here? Then he goes into a room and he looks at himself. You know what it started to feel like as it got to this point? I was like, this is starting to feel oddly like 2001 in a weird way, where a lot of it's like, let's just, and when the fucking other shit happened, that was when I was really like, this is like 2001 weird shit. But yeah, he like confronts himself in a white robe, and the other version of himself's like, I'm David too. And he's like, no, you're fucking not. And then he just gets really angry, and that's when we see his hate, and he like bashes him, murders other David with a lamp. And to the point where Gigolo Joe's like, I'm just going to see myself out. I'll just be outside hanging out in the airplane. I don't care. But we get a whole monologue from the fucking his creator, and all about how he's the one child, and like, David was my son, and you're going to replace him. You're going to be the biggest thing ever. We have plans for you. Just wait here. I'll go get your mothers and fathers. It's a fucking weird way to present this to him. Yeah, definitely don't want to freak out this kid. Definitely don't lie to him, to Ryan's point, and say, your mother's in the next room. Let me go get her. And then just leave and come back when you're ready. No, just tell him your mom's not here. She's never coming back. You've imprinted. Sorry about that. I'm going to go get the people who created you. You're not special. We're going to show you what's going to happen, and then leave and expect him to stay there. And like,
yeah.
Yeah, right. He'll just
he wanders through a row of boxes of himself.
Can you imagine how much electricity they are running through this building in a building that is half submerged underwater? Are they using electrical lines that are buried underground, or that are on telephone wires that are within the water? How are they powering this place? Why would they bring electricity into a place that is half submerged in water?
They converted the Ferris wheel to a water wheel in Coney Island underneath. Too bad David broke it.
Why do they want, like, they want David back, right? We get this implication idea. It's like he wants David back. But then when we get there, we find out he's been making other Davids that are working in operation.
And what's the other ones? Marlene?
They would just want this one back to trash it, right? Like, that's...
Yeah, he says, like, we have big plans for you.
There's now nothing special about it.
I'm pretty sure they're going to trash him and take his memories and training and data, and then, like, fucking feed that into whatever they have for their robots. And be like, cool, we learned. We should probably give David a base story, teach him how to actually be a fucking human being before we put him with a family. Maybe we don't do the grieving mom thing anymore. They're going to, like, use all of that, and then they're going to deploy, like, a horrible...
They know where he goes next, right? Like, he doesn't get very far away, and they don't go get him then either.
Do they know?
Right? He falls in the water fucking 10 feet away, and they're like, fuck it.
He's been taken away by a school of fish.
We went to all this trouble before.
We can't get him now.
Yeah, we went to all this trouble before to put this tricks out there in the world to seed things into Dr. No to get him to come here. And then he walked away, and we're like,
he learned from Gigolo Joe. He learned how to put them sleeves up his trick. And that's just how it goes.
I guess if they wanted to destroy him anyway, they're just like, oh, whatever. Like, the ocean has him now. But, like,
Poseidon
he clearly can survive underwater for long periods of time.
Yeah.
The scene with the fucking fish coming to, like, take him away was just, I lost my shit. It's like, what are we doing here? This is so fucking stupid.
Wait, did a fish take him away?
A school of fish swam around him. And then, like, usher him I don't even remember.
I thought Jude Law carried him with the fucking whatever thing. I don't remember. I just know he sat on top of something, and that was when he reacted and was like, oh my God, and then got taken out, and Jude Law was like, hey, like, that's not, whatever. I thought if there was a school of fish and I saw it, I probably was like, this is just like...
It was when he first fell into the ocean out of the building, and a school of fish came and swam around him.
Some fucking fairy tale shit. That's all that I kind of started to excuse a lot of this bullshit as. I was just like, hey, it's not a sci-fi, it's a science fantasy at this point. Like, everything that's happened is so inexplicable in its nature. Also, one of the David boxes bounces around and it scares him. It was like a moment from Toy Story.
This is the weirdest Toy Story movie that has ever been made.
Toy Story 6.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine if Woody found another Woody that was like AI powered and wanted to die and or have a family so badly that it was like, I will do anything. Oh God, I haven't seen Toy Story 5 yet. Don't spoil it. I'm sure that's okay. Well, that spoiled it.
All I know is that the tablet can't be evil because then Disney would have to like admit that all the fucking apps and shit that they're putting out is bad. So like even going into it, you already know.
They have to find a balance. Look, Anakin only committed a genocide on Tusken Raiders. He was still mostly good.
Like George Bush.
Yeah, we don't know what happened with all those baby Jedis. They just closed the door.
He could have taught them how to wield a lightsaber before sending them on their way.
Yeah, he just told them, get out. He drove them out to the woods and said, don't go that way.
And he left them for the stormtroopers.
Well, the stormtroopers will look for you.
Just don't go that way. Watch out for the fucking flesh fair and just
don't go to Coruscant. Just stay any other direction.
Oh my God. Yeah, I thought that again, there's several moments in this movie where I thought it was going to get much darker than it did. And then it gets somehow darker, but in a weird way. And like when David is just like, there's nothing here. And he like just leans off of the building and falls into the ocean. I was like, he's just going to die. And then it's just going to end. And like, we'll sit there forever.
That's the ending in my mind.
It's exactly.
That is two for twice. My mind, this movie ends is that he gets down there and he finds the fucking blue fairy statue. And that's it. He always
has an ideal.
And then the whatever it is shows up at the end and sees him, but he's dead. That's in my mind what it is. There's nothing else after that.
They like find him later and they're like, it's just another robot, sir. And like throw him in a junk pile.
Yeah, they find him and they're like, well, that sucks. And exactly. That's the ending in my mind.
Ryan.
Stupid, sexy aliens.
No, I remember him. I just think that they got there and he was dead. I didn't think that they talked to him or did anything. They just were like, oh, this is sad. And that was
kind of the bullshit part for me. It was because like then Jude Law's like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking Gigolo. That's it for Gigolo Joe. It's curtains for me. And like he gets magneted up into the sky. And like David's like,
what does he say? He was like, when you see some ladies, remember me or whatever.
When you see the blue fairy, think of Gigolo Joe plowing her. Like, I don't know, some shit like that. And yeah, like then David just takes the little like, it's an all-purpose vehicle. It goes in the air and it goes in the water, and he takes it all the way down. Just waits in Coney Island for 2,000 years or some shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
just staring unblinkingly.
They
at the blue
made
fairy.
them. They made these robots so they could sit underwater staring for 2,000 years.
No problems.
But if they accidentally eat spinach, they get fucked up.
They have to go quickly. Yeah, they have to do any of that.
Right. Which even more opens up we don't want them to eat, and we gave them a mouth, but we gave also a hole in the back of their mouth that they don't fucking need. Spinach can go down.
The plugging is done in the anus, and that's where they get their electric charge from. They don't show that part, obviously, for reasons.
If only it was rated R.
He has one of those vacuum cables that, like when you step on the thing and it goes like right back in. That's what David probably has. It plugs right in. Then he waits for 2,000 years. We get a little like our narrator pops back in because we have a narrator as a framing device. It's like supposed to be a children's fable, I guess.
The narrator is Ben Kingsley. What the fuck?
Yes.
They just needed a regal voice. Bring Ben Kingsley in.
He's hardly in it at all. Like they only narrate the last like 20 minutes of the movie.
Can you believe it was supposed to be Chris Rock, but Chris Rock only had 5 seconds in his schedule that were free?
Oh my God, what a weird change in tone that would have been. What if Ben Kingsley was the robot that got eviscerated and Chris Rock was the narrator at the end?
Yes. Chris Rock would have added a lot of cynicism to this about David's problems as a young white boy who like did whatever and fucking lived in a very rich family.
And what if David was a little black kid? This would be a different movie.
Exactly.
He's like, just goes off script.
That was the other thing that I noticed. I was like, there's all David's particular like remade in a white kid's image, and they only seem to have David and Marlene's. Yes. I just couldn't help but notice this.
See, they knew if they made any black robots, it'd be like slavery. So this movie's very scared of accidentally making you think that.
That's not what any of this is like. Everybody who's a sex slave or other thing is just a white robot, and we'll keep it that way. Fine. It's fine. Then the stupid sexy aliens show up. It gets all weird. They're fucking...
all right. I remember them as being aliens both times in my misremembering of the end of this movie. But when I was looking at this, apparently they're not supposed to be aliens. And yeah, they're supposed to be like 2,000 years on. The robots have evolved, and humans are completely gone.
It doesn't matter.
And
which it is.
Yeah, Spielberg and a couple other people who've been interviewed get angry about this. But I watching it this last time, I'm like, there's fucking nothing that gives you anything about what these are.
Except they're shaped like aliens, like how Spielberg has depicted
like
aliens in the past in his
Every time.
movies. So like that's the hint that they're aliens.
They like, even if they were robots, they're so alien, they might as well just be fucking aliens. Like, I get that they touch David and they get all of his memories. Well, they don't even touch him. That was the other thing, was I was like, they haven't mastered Wi-Fi except for just David, where they like put their hand right in front of him and one of them starts
Bluetooth.
to get some signal from Bluetooth for him. But then the rest of them all have to like touch the same person to get the data. And I get, for like cinematic language, it makes sense. All right, the chain is, but they could all just put their hands out. But no, that probably look like Nazis then, or some shit. Their hands too far outstretched, and it's
Everybody
not touching.
come warm your hands by the David fire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody get your own language. Get in on this. This kid's fresh. Yeah, David's like frozen and shit, and they unearth him, and they're all weird and sleek and slender, and like they fly around in ships that are totally alien. They look nothing like human ships that are made of like weird metal walls that disassemble when they get. It's cool shit. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I was like, this is wild. Cool. Whatever the fuck's happening here when they're chipping through this glacier that was New York is neat. But the fact that it's still driving this movie is insane to me, that somebody was like, this will make perfect sense when it's over. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. So then they take David to the 2001 enclosure and they put him in there and wait for him to become a space baby. And like, they're like, we can give you anything you want, David. We're all here. We're rooting for you, David, to have your best life.
And they say that because he is their closest connection to humanity, and they're interested in learning more about humans, and David has interacted with humans.
Again, like, if they were fucking robots, they would know a lot about humans because of how data transfers.
Yeah.
But they're aliens.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, either I feel like it's either the reading is they're aliens that are just like digging up artifacts, and so it's interesting to them because it's a connection to humans that they are finding artifacts of but are gone. That makes a lot of sense. Or the robots that have like humans died off and they've continued to like evolve themselves forward and forgot about humans and started digging up their old shit. Or at least, I guess, going back to try to find old robots that are like their past, but then why do they? Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Which I guess is why they give a fuck of like giving him a good life.
That's where like I thought they were aliens because only aliens could be that altruistic. Like humanity is not going to make something that's like, we're going to use all of our resources to clone your mom and give you a day of your life and like let you dream about it. They're going to be like, hey, fucking wake up, like prodding and like trying to get it
rebuild themselves.
Just like, tell us where the resources are. God damn it, we need it for our industries. But these things are just like all weird, slender, silver, sleek things. Sure, they like are translucent and have this sort of circuitry inside, but it's so dense that it just looks like a shimmer on the outside.
It looks like space. It looks
it's
like
like
weird
cosmic
space shit. Yeah, like it
they
just
have
looks
faces, but the faces are very faint. Like anytime that they're talking, you can see like a face is sort of projected, but everything else just shines way too much through.
And those faces look like alien faces that Spielberg has depicted in multiple movies.
Yes,
massive eyes and small mouths.
All it does.
Oblong heads and
yeah, Close Encounters. And there you go. And it's just like
Disclosure Day.
Fucking A. Yeah, they have no right to be angry about that. They can't be angry about it.
No.
David also doesn't give a shit about them at all. David gives a shit about seeing his mom again.
No.
And he wants mommy. He wants mommy all day, every day. And he's mad. And the robots are able to make the blue fairy real? She an animatronic?
Like, is it a digital projection in his mind or something?
Where are they?
Yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't.
When they build the house, they have just
recreated
a
his house
that they
perfectly.
Look down on like a surgery room.
They do the thing in Contact where it's like, we projected something that's extremely familiar to you that's actually more disturbing than if we had just talked to you face to face.
I'm gonna emerge just like your father. I'm like, fucking, I'll look like who? Yeah, wait a minute. If they can project anything to his mind, why can't they just project his fucking mom forever. Like, just give him that. I don't know. Whatever.
Like he'll only buy it. It's the blue fairy,
they do
'cause
the
that's
whole
what he's looking
thing
for, yeah.
where they're like, we can clone your mother, but only for one day. She can only live for that day.
We've not figured out how to wake them up after they go to sleep the first time.
figured
So
out
they
that,
can
yeah.
only live for like 12 hours.
They die, and then
Don't ask any weird questions about her past. She'll freak out.
Man, Sasha said that I would be fucked if
Yeah.
it was me. She was like, man, if I had to clone you, your fucking lazy ass wouldn't wake up until like it was too late. And then I was like, why are you grilling me at the end of this movie? It's just such a sweet moment.
That whole shit doesn't make sense
Yeah.
either. Because right, that they're like, oh, we bring people back. They admit that they've already done this before. So I guess even that they're like, oh, David, you're unique, right? You're awesome or whatever. That's why I
so
talk
cool,
to him.
David.
And they're like, what do you want? And he's like, oh, I want my mom back. And then they go like, oh, well, we can only bring back people whose bodies we found. Which then is like, you've been doing that? Like, why? Right? Because they act like this is the first robot they've had that's had connections to humans, and that's why they want to know them. But they can bring humans back from the dead. They've already
Wouldn't
done
that have been crazy if they brought the whole family back because like David just happened to have?
Yeah, he doesn't ask about Dad. He never
they
asks
bring
about
Henry and
or
Martin
give a fuck.
and Mom back, and then David.
Yeah, everyone has to
murders
come back.
Henry and Martin.
In front of
Or
Mom.
he just like really buddies up to Mom and he always looks at everybody while they pass away.
Yeah. So then, right, they're like, oh, if we have some part of them, we can bring them back. Right. And it happens that Teddy picked up Mom's hair for some fucking reason and has been carrying it around for
He
2,000
just knew it was
years.
going to come in handy.
Well, that was a scene that I was like, kind of stands out when he cuts the mom's hair and Teddy's like, oh, grab that. I was kind of just like, I didn't mind it. I was like, yeah, sure. Teddy's just there to fuck around. Teddy seems like the kind of guy who just show up in a room and be like, well, I'll just
He's
like try to
sentimental.
be a homie
Yeah,
and help clean up the evidence or something. Why not? But yeah.
Notwithstanding the fact that there isn't DNA in hair, I guess maybe there's skin cell on the hair that
there's something
survived.
there.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
And then they're like, oh, well, when we do it, it only comes back like one. But how?
Don't. You're asking too
Like
many
more
questions.
pieces. If they had another piece of her, they couldn't do it again. It's just like a one-time.
Yeah, could they bring her back
that's-
one day
Does
for
that have something to
every
do with her
hair that they
soul?
have?
Yeah,
Like-
wait, that's when they talk about
Right, or is it no? We can. They say we can only bring her back for one
yeah,
day.
they
That's
do that
it.
Christopher
we can
Nolan
never
thing
do
where
it
they
again.
talk about metaphysics
What?
for like 5 seconds to justify where they're like, we
Yeah,
found
yeah.
that the life source and fucking the dimension of time only lives the same journey so many times. It's like once it's been lived out, you can only get like one day out of it from there because you're like cheating it or some shit. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is this? This logic is bullshit, but fucking they just wanted to make any excuse to get his mom back. Like, we can get you back for a day, but okay, it's all this shit.
And honestly, the way it happens, it could have just been a fucking illusion to David, and it wouldn't have fucking mattered whether it was really his mom or not. So that's a whole nother
I will say I'm
thing,
glad that they didn't
but whatever.
they didn't pull out in Jacob's Ladder this shit at the end. They weren't just like, oh, David, you've completed your simulation trials. You're ready to go with your first family. Like, so that would have been the most
right.
annoying shit ever to be like, oh, they just have a simulation that predicts 2,000 years in the future, these sexy aliens. But it seems that kind of dumb. They could have done that.
Well, I mean, at this point in the movie, it's like, you're not landing this plane in any way that makes any sense.
You're taking this plane to space and it is not equipped
Yeah,
to go
you do.
there.
He's just dead. The aliens show up and they find him, and he's just dead.
That's all you need. Just his lifeless eyes. They talk about how like he runs out of Ben Kingsley talks about how he runs out of power and he no longer is able to appeal to the fairy and he just dies. Like he's just there. He just goes into suspended animation. It just leave it at that. Sad ending. I smell studio notes beyond that. Somebody was like, no, Stevie, baby, we can't do that. That's going to make the audience mad because it's too bummer. It's all just too sad.
I would argue that the ending is really sad, though. Like it
still is.
It's not. It doesn't land very well because I'm just confused. Like what's for you?
No.
But like it is objectively very depressing that this kid would be just thirsting after his mother for thousands of years.
I don't like when you say it that way.
My apologies. And finally, the movie is an Oedipus
say
complex. He finally is like, oh, you get one day with your mom.
What are you going to do about it?
He's just so happy to just be alone with his mom for like 12 hours or whatever. And then it's over. The movie just ends. And it's like he achieves this little fleeting blip of happiness, and then he's just doomed to never be able to experience that again, and he's just stuck with her still imprinted on him all this time.
They kind of imply he dies.
He says that
he does die.
He says like she goes to sleep, and he's like, maybe
the
I'll go to
narrator's like
sleep
he went
too.
back to the
But he's
David went to sleep and he went back to the place where dreams are born or whatever. So
did he commit suicide? Like they say that he can't go to sleep. They make that very clear that he's not capable of sleep.
My best read on it is that because he like died in the water, he also has this just like one day left, and that they're saying in a way that like he now has some part of this spiritualness or whatever, and that he is special.
I mean,
like this is me actually. Like if the narrator said some shit like this, it would be something. But I'm trying to like write my best possible ending in thematically what they're going for.
Convenience timeline there, because it's like they never talk about how he's powered. But nobody has that fucking energy source for David anymore. And it's been 2,000 years and he's been on low power. And now he's just going to like, this is his last gasp. He gets a day with his mom.
Yeah, I think they kind of like shock him awake for one day and they bring back his mom for one day. And she shows that she actually loves him and he gets that great feeling. And then he passes on too. And now he's like a human.
He is a real boy because he has died.
But, yeah.
That's it.
Even if we fix that part of the ending, I feel like we failed entirely in this movie to show that he actually shows love.
He shows like obsession,
which is supposed to be the premise.
Yeah.
Right. He's obsessed with her, but he doesn't really seem to care about Joe or fucking anything else or Teddy or any of it, which I would think we would get these hints, like a good sci-fi story, which actually what this is based on.
Yeah,
David, I was gonna say the original like short story. It's somewhat through David and the mom, Monica. What's her name? Monica.
Not Sally.
Through their eyes, back and forth. Yeah, not Sally Field. And she's struggling with this. Like she doesn't know how she feels about her son, and she talks to Teddy. And then David, we see David's side of it, and he's not understanding why he's not connecting to his mom, and he talks to Teddy. It tells us at the beginning that Teddy is a robot, and it talks about super toys and all this stuff. It doesn't tell us that David is. And then as the short story goes on, David finds out he's a robot. And like that's the big reveal at the end. And Monica ends up finding these letters that he wrote that she realizes that he actually did love her, and opens up this question of like, why didn't she feel that way? Did she, because she knew he was a robot, but now she sees these things. And so it's interesting you think on. It's a fucking like 20 pages, right? It's just like an interesting little think piece that this thing doesn't take any of those qualities or questions at all. It just takes the mom has a robot and there's a thing Teddy and they don't get along, and then tacks on 2 hours of bullshit afterwards that has nothing to do with it.
Are you telling me there are no robo-whores in the short story, Ryan?
No robo-whores. I haven't read. There's
Joe
two more short stories.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yes. There's two more short stories, and the second one is after he's left the family and he's wandering around, and there's like abandoned robots and stuff like that, and it does, I guess, sort of get into that, but I don't think there's a gigolo robot. I don't know.
They don't even talk about Gigolo Jane?
But yeah, if we had seen hints that David was changing in some way and like actually loving or getting the love, or he is able to move past Monica, and like that's interesting, right? That's a new... He wasn't programmed to do it kind of thing, or what? But it's like he's the same poorly programmed child he was at the beginning. He just gets this like fulfillment of his directive that Monica is nice to him.
Yeah, that's
at the end,
like
and like that's it. That's the point of your movie.
It's kind of the main crux of like most Asimov stuff too. When you talk about robots, is like the contradictions are supposed to like breed spontaneity and like new creativity and like soul into the robots, and this is like, he's just always kind of like, I want to do that. And it's like it's been a while since I've watched or read the story of Pinocchio, but it does feel like Pinocchio's
dude, it's fucked up. I went back and I was like, man, Pinocchio keeps popping up, and I went back and I was like, this is some fucking nonsense fucked up shit that they don't usually cover, that's in the middle chunk of Pinocchio's crazy.
It's like the like island with the fucking donkeys and all the fucking weird shit. Like I just But I remember Pinocchio, typically he just wants to like be a boy. Like, I don't think that Pinocchio has a whole lot of depth, right? And so it's like,
he's not even really driven by wanting to be a
It's just
boy.
like a
That
thing.
just kind of like happens
It just
eventually.
happens.
Yeah, it's more of just like, yeah, he goes around and he's a puppet. And he doesn't even really question it. Just fucked up shit keeps happening to him. He keeps getting like shat on or tricked or whatever over and over again.
yeah.
And then eventually, yeah, he finally kind of like becomes a boy at the end.
Fucking weird.
But it's not like it was a dry. It was not like it was a drive for him.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
David just tricks himself into it by being like, well, if I'm a real boy, then my mom has to love me. And it's like this weird logic that he never escapes. And it's the ending is bittersweet and in like this way where it's just like, yeah, David finally gets like what he wants and then he fucking dies. And like, we're all freed of the agony that is this movie as it like continues going and his story continues. It's like, okay, good. Finally, we found a resting point, but it took 2,000 fucking years to do it.
Yeah.
And he never grew once, and he never freed himself from that agency. He was still ensnared by like this blue fairy myth and like idealism, and that's where like I think that the movie in concept to talk about is fascinating. To watch, it's messy and it doesn't know what it's saying, but when you look at it on the like overall, it does feel like it's pointing to all of the gaps and flaws of like not thinking through a very clear, complicated decision in bringing something new into the world that shouldn't be, or it requires way more heft and thought, like of what you're doing. It started from just like, didn't like God just want to make Adam because he just wanted somebody to be there, to like, oh yeah, like God made Adam just because he wanted somebody to be there. And now the whole world is consumed by humans destroying the earth with like different things. That's not something that necessarily, I mean, people would be mad to say that an omnipotent being wouldn't see that happening, but like, hey, you know, that's a fucking major consequence of a very small want or need that originates back. But you start a movie and I could see somebody in a boardroom pitching it that way and talking about like, we're doing Pinocchio and it's like Kubrick has this idea about this thing and he kind of wants this story to be woven in this way. Steven Spielberg's on board and everybody's like, yeah, this makes sense. And then when you make it, it's just a hot mess like this that doesn't ask it asks a lot of the right questions, doesn't answer any of them, doesn't spend time thinking about any of it, and then just moves on to a bittersweet ending because it needs to conclude a story that it's trying to tell, a fable of some sort.
Yeah, and I think of all the things that are wrong with this movie and don't really make any sense and feel tacked on, the biggest problem is that the mother-son relationship just does not ring true, and that ending is not earned at all. It just feels so empty and hollow, and I'm like, I'm supposed to care about this, but I don't, and I can't imagine that many people watching this movie would actually feel moved by this ending because you don't get enough time with the mother and son actually bonding early in the film. It's like, he's a freaking weird kid. She's terrified. Then all of a sudden she's like, I'm just so desperate for a child and connection. I guess I'll imprint myself on it. And then they have that relationship for like 5 minutes of screen time, maybe before the other son is done from his coma and he's home now. And we're just going to act like everything's fine and brush all these weird feelings under the rug. And like, you just never feel that connection between the two of them. It feels very mechanical because his obsession has just been turned on. So he is now obsessed with this woman, but it doesn't feel real, like he actually cares for her. He just wants to be doted on by her, and she wants nothing to do with him because he is creating danger to her son and the rest of the family. And so it's just like, I feel like if you really wanted this thing to work, you would need a good chunk of the movie to be devoted to that relationship and more background on the mother and the trauma that she's been through and why she is so desperate that she would do this with a robot child and create that unbreakable connection, and more time with them together so you actually care about them and you understand what they're getting from each other and why they are both interested in that relationship. But there's just none of that. And so it just all feels poorly thought out, poorly constructed. And there's all this other stuff that's more fun to talk about why it's a dumb movie that doesn't really work. But at the end of the day, they try to land it on this serious note with these two characters that just doesn't work at all because they've not done any of the legwork to get to a point where that ending would make any sense whatsoever, unless it's just like supposed to be about the tragedy of obsession and like hyper focusing on one person in your life. But like, I don't, that's not what this movie is trying to say.
It doesn't act like that at all. It doesn't act like that at all.
That is oddly the way that I have taken this movie, is that it unintentionally is not the artist's intention, because I feel like it's Spielberg's intention to be like, okay, we're going to do some dark stuff, but it's going to be like a children's fable and it'll be this sort of fairy tale about a robot boy who wants to be real. But to me, this is like a very nihilistic movie in which a fucking greedy company and a bereaved father who heads up that company decide to build a child robot out of the like initial thought that it would be nice to have comfort in times of loss. They make that quick decision, they commit to it, then a mother quickly adapts to it in her grief, which is not yet solidified. She doesn't have a solidified bereavement because her son is still in a coma. Mm-hmm. But in that like quick fix, I need this to be something different. Her husband buys her that and she puts full faith in it. It's like they give a version of sentience in subserviency to an entity that then gets discarded and then has to live its life in agony and suffering, wanting them to love it back and never getting that, up until the end when it finally receives the superficial day of love that it has and then dies because of it. It's like all of this chaos, you know, this is like a burn after reading situation of like, what did we learn here? Mm-hmm. And it just is like, right. I don't fucking know what we learned. I guess we learned not to fucking do that. Like, just don't do it. And
should have made a kid robot.
Yeah. It's just like all of that pain and suffering and it's permeated throughout the entire film too. Like no matter what kind of happy ending it tries to give, or like, in the future, robots will take good care of him, he still underwent so much fucked up shit. Saw robots destroyed, saw people turn on each other, saw all this real fucked up shit. Saw it Sex City. That was probably the most fun part of it. But like just everything in there is wrapped in this darkness of inescapable humanity that I've never seen in a Spielberg movie before. And I don't think Spielberg intended it, but I took it as being like, this is some subconscious shit Spielberg's not aware. Like for everything schmaltzy he's ever done in any other film, somehow I feel like the nihilism of humanity crept its way into this for him. And he was just like, yeah, I'm just like, he didn't even realize he was doing this and he made it. And it's so fucking dark and weird, but that's how I took it. It's really wild in perspective.
Yeah. Well, because we never see, that's what I'm saying is we're missing the piece of seeing David as alive. Ever.
And that, human, that's the crux. Like, alive, why wouldn't they do that?
We never
Nobody
see him
stopped
be
to ask why.
Yeah. So it feels like the beginning of the movie, that chunk with the mom is the core that we get the least of and has the most potential for us to go on and pick a direction for this movie to go. Does she actually start to love the robot? And then her son returns and she's struck in this, The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin, where her actual son is horrible and this one that has come into her life she actually loves, and we get some sort of interesting thing there? Or can she never love him because she always is misguided thinking he's a robot, and so she can't ever pierce through that? And that's what like the original short story is, and maybe that's interesting. But it's like that could be explored and we never have to leave the house and go to Sex City. And then the last piece is the Pinocchio. Like I feel like either she didn't read a good version of Pinocchio to David because he's not getting the point of Pinocchio, that he gets lost on this. It doesn't really follow along with the actual story of Pinocchio, or even like the Disney-fied version of Pinocchio, where he's a fuck up, right? Pinocchio is a little shit like that in the original story, especially, but even in the Disney one, he's a little shit. He fucking lies. Every time Geppetto goes and like sells his own fucking clothes to get him money to go to school, he fucking throws the books away and goes to gamble on, Gamble Island or whatever. Like, constantly, right? That's like constantly the Pinocchio story. And then eventually Pinocchio does some nice shit for once. And then that's how he becomes a real boy. Meanwhile, we see Haley Joel Osment just be innocent and honestly nice the whole fucking time and not get rewarded for it in any way.
It really does feel like Toy Story 3, where like the Andy has stopped playing with the toys, and that's like the mother, taking Haley Joel Osment to a farm upstate, and then like they're just desperately trying to get back to Andy to get him to play with them, and they go through a bunch of harrowing adventures where they're almost destroyed, and then they get one final like play date with Andy at the end of the movie, but then instead of him giving the toys to Bonnie, he just chucks them in the dumpster.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the plot of the movie.
And they don't move on from Andy. They still are stuck on him, even like learning that he's grown up.
Well, that's the one last play date is like the the one day he gets with his mom at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if he like moved on, even that would be interesting. Like he like gets up and is like, okay, now I need to live for me instead of for Monica. And we're like, oh, fuck,
they never got to Toy
interesting.
Story 4.
No,
they didn't.
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
didn't
do that.
Yeah. That's just not how it's gonna go. Well, that's like the whole movie in a nutshell, which is wild. And we've talked through a lot of what did and didn't work, mostly what didn't work. Where would y'all place this in Steven Spielberg's decline? From a career standpoint.
So I saw recently a critics poll on Spielberg films that was like a bunch of, dozens of critics had responded to this thing, and we're ranking them from 1 to whatever. And AI was like 6 or something on the list. I was like, how the fuck did that happen? This is way too high. Like, I am not the biggest Spielberg fan. I generally think he's very overrated, but like I can think of so many better films that he has made than this. And it seems like it has gotten this weird, like, re-acclaim in the aftermath. And I don't know why that is, if it's the Kubrick connection where people think that it's better than it is. But it's weird to me that people seem to look back on this fondly as like a misunderstood Spielberg film that's one of his better ones. It's like there's so many other things he's done that are so much better than this. I mean, this was in like the rocky period of the early 2000s where he was making some good, some bad stuff, going back to a lot of themes on either aliens or advanced technology. And like, I really liked War of the Worlds. Really, like, I thought it was one of his better movies, especially from that era. But it was kind of up and down all over the place. And then after that, those few years, it seemed like he was just kind of done, and everything he's making was pretty trash after 2006 or so.
Yeah, I think you have like there's like a top small layer of like good Spielberg stuff, and I think that everything that Spielberg does has at least one glaring flaw. I don't actually think there's anything that I look at of his and is like, this is a 5 out of 5. I think he has some like really solid, maybe even 4.5s in like Jaws. I think the best thing for him for Jaws is that the shark didn't look good on close-ups because he would have spent way too much time on the technology of it. I think it's great because he's working around what he has to work around with, which I feel like Jurassic Park also, the technology is a huge step up, but he also knew like, if I put that dinosaur in the light and show the whole thing, it's going to look questionable, and he really limits what he does with it. Great casting, and that those aren't like he got the people for the roles that he wanted. I think later Spielberg, they were trying really hard to get, and in this case, in AI, not so much, but trying to get people that were marketable, right? And other things that probably were better. Like Tom Hanks isn't good in Catch Me If You Can. It could be someone else and be a lot better movie. And it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark is great. It's fun. Right. And so it's like he has these couple of really top ones, and Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List are great, but way too schmaltzy, for the seriousness that they're supposed to be. And then it's like a drop to ones, like I mentioned, like Hook, E.T. E.T.'s terrible.
Right? Get him, Ryan.
It is, right? But we can like look back on it and have like fun. It's a fun kids kind of movie, and Hook is like also, and they're like sentimentally okay movies. I think he has a lot of those that people look back. I put like Catch Me If You Can in that. It's like, it's kind of a fun movie. It's bad. but people kind of have fun with it, and so they think that it's good. And then he has a bunch of shit, right? Like, and then it just falls off. He has a lot of movies that are just absolutely fall off.
Well, and what makes his best movies good is the characters, right? Like Jaws is great not because of the shark, but because the characters are awesome, and like you like spending time with
and
those
the time
characters.
you get to spend with them,
and like them sitting and drunkenly comparing scars on a boat is hilarious, and it's like, you know, a good time had by all. And that's like Jurassic Park. The characters are great. You know, like his best movies focus on the humans and about really establishing those relationships and building on them. And it seems like later in his career, he just kind of stopped giving a fuck about that. And, you know, I don't know, there's some earlier, like Close Encounters, characters aren't that great, I think, but it works because the filmmaking works and because John Williams' score is incredible. But, you know, for the most part, his better films are built on that concept. And like, there is not one fully thought out character in the entirety of AI. Not one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they're all very paper thin.
Yeah, I would say that this ranks. I mean, this is pretty mid for me. I keep speculating. I told Dixon, like, I think that like Spielberg lost it somewhere between, because like Saving Private Ryan is the 90s and Schindler's List the 90s. Like AI is right around that sweet spot, like right before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I'm like, yeah, this is like right around where he lost, like whatever it was that he had for the other films that he's made. And I know like he's done, he's everything. He continues to gravitate towards like, it's like everybody gets a cavalcade of like their different actors that they want to work with. They're like all there working together. And Tom Hanks ends up being like so recurrent in Spielberg things that kind of ruins what could have been if he just branched out to other actors. And like Tom Hanks doesn't need to be in like The Terminal or
that movie's terrible.
Catch Me If You Can,
right? Or Catch Me If You Can.
Any of those things. That's like it just we don't need Tom Hanks on those. It's fine. But yeah, and then like I was just looking through some of his filmography, and I was like, I don't even fucking know what these movies are. These just came out like World War II shit in like the 80s or 90s, and like he's clearly been iterating on some of those things, and they're not like any of his big properties. Like I think the Steven Spielberg box set just came out, like 4K movies, and it's only like 8 or 9 films, but he's like directed 61 things. So it's like even the production and distribution studio knows. Whereas if I was to see like a Scorsese box set, I expect to have a bookshelf worth of movies.
Yeah.
That, like or like one shelf on a bookshelf. Like that's just going to be all Scorsese shelf. And it's all in the same box set kind of thing. Like just constant quality, vision, direction dedicated to it. But I feel like Spielberg's...
Yeah, it's amazing to me that people talk about this. I like Munich a lot. And I feel like when it came out, no one really talked about it. And it didn't do too well. And no one talks about it anymore. And it is so much better than AI. Like by a long shot, so much better. And that's right at his cliff. Like me, it's like Munich is 2005, and then I guess it's a cliff. I like Adventures of Tintin.
Yeah. If
the sequel that they keep talking about does come out, I think we should explore Adventures in Tintin because it's another one I don't really hear anyone talk about. And the one animated Spielberg film, which maybe I'm like. Maybe Spielberg has barely little to do with that one because he's not an animated director. He didn't write the script for it. And like maybe that's another, some of these I feel like are actually in spite of Spielberg good.
This is kind of an interesting thing because we've talked about a lot of directors who are very powerful, impactful, influential. We have favorite names and lists. So it's like Yorgos Lanthimos, and we've got Kubrick, we've got Scorsese, there's
Lynch.
Ari Aster, Lynch. I've talked about how like I want to get more into like female directors. I want like Catherine Bigelow, and I want to know more about Sofia Coppola, that kind of stuff. But we don't talk about producers and like who the big producers might be. And I feel like Spielberg is a better producer than a director at this point. Like I think that he greenlights more interesting visions, and he's way more excited for things. Like I know when Disclosure Day was coming out, he took some of his red carpet time to really flag that he appreciated like Obsession and Backrooms, and was like being like, I like seeing those young filmmakers doing what they're doing. I think that that's really powerful and that's great. And that's like a great voice. I think that that's why he's so beloved in the film community, because he tries to give back or is trying to actively be part of those projects and not be as hands-on to a point where it's like, he's like, anything I see that's executive produced by Michael Bay is ruined because Michael Bay is involved actively in it. And I feel like anything that's executive produced by Spielberg, he's like, whatever your vision is, I want it. But like, I've seen executive produced things by Michael Bay and he's always like, put a close up on Megan Fox, get her in this movie. She's not in here. Get her in here.
Her t-shirt's not wet enough.
Do it. Like all that thing. It's just like, okay, sure. But I feel like that's an interesting thing that I've never really considered in a lot of films is like, I want to start to know in the 80s, like Dino De Laurentiis was a big fucking producer. He was like the reason why David Lynch ended up taking over Dune. And that's David Lynch's biggest regret is trying to take that shit on for him. But producers like really do like have a big impact on which films get made, how they get made, who touches them, what happens. And I'm kind of curious because of Spielberg, like he's at this point, I'm kind of like, he's not a great director anymore. I think that, it's like he's a legend because he made some really good fucking movies that were blockbusters back in the day. Now he's kind of on the sidelines. Like, what does he produce? What is he helping with? Like Scorsese's producing movies too, but he's also directing. He still has a clear passion for like meticulous direction in that, in what he makes and how he makes it. But he's also like, how can I bring foreign films in? How can I do all of that? And so I'm entering a phase, I guess, in my cinephile era where I'm trying to figure out like, who is it that is contributing now to like the younger voices? How are they doing it? And that's where I feel like I could find redemption for Steven Spielberg is, what have you produced, Spielberg? What have you helped? Who have you like empowered? Because I don't have faith in your films anymore, unfortunately. Like your direction just doesn't.
I mean, most of his recent production is either his own stuff or sequels to stuff that he previously produced that he still produced around, like sequels and remakes of stuff. Yeah, I think he had his time. But no, as a producer, I have a ton of respect because tons of things that he greenlit that are like critical to like my childhood, right? So many like key like childhood movies and key blockbusters of the 90s and late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, television, like pushing like the Warner Brothers like television show and Warner Brothers animation forward into the new era. Like tons and tons of stuff that he did really give up and coming young. Like he gave Joe Dante how many stabs?
He's doing Gremlins 3 too. Like, he's producing it. I saw it. It's on IMDb.
Right. Or Don Bluth or whatever. Like he did continue to give stabs to people who are, a little niche and maybe never really hit what he would have wanted, but I still appreciate that they're out there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think if he's going to still be involved in film, that's the direction he should go for sure. Like he's done as a director. I don't know that he's capable of making good films anymore. And look, he's old. He's got money. If he wants to greenlight projects that he thinks are interesting, go for it. But I don't really want to see anything that he directs ever again.
Dixon, can you just really quick say for me, I'm calling it time of career death, Tuesday, July 7th, 10:46 p.m. Say it as doctor-like as you can.
Nurse John, I'm calling it time of Spielberg career death. Tuesday, July 7th, 10:47 p.m. Central Time.
I'll log it in the books. I'll send a note to the family. Maybe a ham.
Edible arrangement.
Yeah, edible arrangement.
I found the Spielberg critic poll list that I was talking about. This was on World of Real. There were 100 plus critics that allegedly responded. Number 1, Jaws. 2, Schindler's List. 3, Close Encounters. 4, Raiders of the Lost Ark. 5, E.T. 6, AI, Artificial Intelligence. 7, Saving Private Ryan. 8, Minority Report.
Whoa.
9, Jurassic Park.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. 10, Munich.
These people are wrong and should be held accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
That is such bullshit.
Yeah, there's some very wrong things in there.
God, that was wild. That's a clickbait article. That's like some shit that I don't even know how that gets away.
Yeah.
How you get away with that shit?
The Terminal is last. I think we can all be excited about that.
Oh, he actually has worse movies than that.
Ready Player One was 25th. That's third to last.
Yes.
God, that's the worst.
That's
film.
worse than The Terminal,
film.
easily.
Oh man.
And I guess
Ryan.
forgot about, what was it, 1941?
that's on there.
That comedy. No one's even watched
1941
that.
is
That's not Dead Bottom.
21st out of 27.
Ryan, when I got out of Disclosure Day, I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. There were some that did not receive any votes, so that's below these. That would be Hook, that would be Hook, The Lost World, Amistad, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, War Horse, and the BFG. Didn't get any votes.
Even Amistad? Okay. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Ryan, when I saw Disclosure Day, I was trying to describe it to somebody and I said, well, I think it's lower than Ready Player One because Ready Player One had interesting locations.
They're all digital.
It's like
all green screen.
Awful comparison. It's a wild list. That is an insane list.
That's crazy.
I don't accept it.
So he asked the critics to name their 5 greatest Spielberg films, and it's just numbered. It's ranked by how many times those showed up in people's lists.
They picked 5, and then they.
So some of them didn't come up at all, but like Jaws is on most people's lists. So it's not necessarily like people aren't ranking the worst films. It's just the ones that people aren't mentioning that are down at the bottom.
Oh my God. Well, are we ready to move on to the Rhino? We're ready to fucking the Rhino. I was like the wrap up and final piece, the Rhino piece of this. Are we ready to wrap this up? Let's do it. Dixon, would you recommend AI?
No.
Artificial intelligence? Wow.
No,
wow, I'm so
not.
surprised by that. I'm so shocked.
Yeah. It's really bad. There are other movies that, deal with these topics in more interesting ways. I don't like if this sounds fun to you. You're like, oh, there's a sex city and Jude Law's a sex robot. It's like, it's not fun. It doesn't, it's weird. But it's not actually
it's
enjoyable to watch.
Don't do it.
I do think, there's obviously a lot of 2001 parallels when you watch this movie, and thinking about how Kubrick would have handled it is interesting. I'm glad that he didn't actually direct this movie, because I feel like that would have been a choice between this and Eyes Wide Shut, and Eyes Wide Shut is wonderful, and I wouldn't have wanted Kubrick to spend his time on this. But if he could have done both, then, before he passed, then I would have rather he even made this than Spielberg. But don't watch this movie.
Ryan, you've seen it 3 times. Would you recommend this?
No. It's there are like some elements to like it is. We didn't even talk. It's like 2 hours 20
2
minutes,
hours 32
right?
minutes.
He got really
2
hours 30
hours.
minutes. Okay. I feel like that's another thing that's like a fault of Spielberg as it went on. He just got longer for no reason. Right? There was nothing that was there, right? Because you're looking at like Indiana Jones is like Last Crusade is just over 2 hours. And I'm like, oh, because he has something to say and to finish up with Indy. And that was the last Indiana Jones movie, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
That was that, right? He had to really kind of like get that. But then it's like, then he just drags on so many other movies for no reason, but just to continue padding them out. There's just way too much shit in there. I don't even know if I could put this at the like in my rankings of like good, middling but schmaltzy, and then just crap. This isn't even at the top of the crap pile. It's sort of like buried in the middle of the crap pile. Like it's not so absolutely abysmal. Hook is at the top of the crap pile.
Well, we knew that.
Like,
where's Goonies at?
you can if you give up and just give into Hook, you can have a good time. If you give into this, I don't know what. I think you'd be bored, right? I think that's the part where it's like if you gave up and you're just like, well, all right, take me on the journey. It's fucking boring.
Is the top of the crap pile better or worse than the bottom of the crap pile?
It's the best of the worst.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. It's better because, I think even in that pile, you could probably cut it into smaller. Yeah.
Why is there cream in your crap, John?
I don't know. Yeah. That's what it is. Ryan, quick, give us the Macho Man impression. Do it, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know if I can just do it off the
cream of the crap.
Rises to the top.
Rises to the top.
Cream. Always gonna rise to the top. Yeah, there you go.
Sound like you're trying to take a shit.
That's the trick to doing a Macho Man thing.
That's what kind of Randy always sounds like.
Yeah. Taking a shit.
You gotta rise from around here.
I gotta say, Despite these dissenting opinions, I would recommend this movie.
I knew it. I told Ryan before this. I was like,
I thought
John
so.
is going to recommend it because it's too earnest and too big of a swing for John not to recommend it.
Well, I don't care about the earnestness. I think the fact that I saw bleak nihilism projected from Steven Spielberg's subconscious made this a fascinating movie for me. And that's why I'd recommend it. Because Sasha and I we both agreed. She saw Disclosure Day along with me and she hated it equally. And when we watched AI, she was like, I really don't know where this is fucking going. And I'm kind of fascinated by it. And we were both, it was mesmerizing. It was like watching, like, I don't know. I've never seen, it's almost like watching a painter sit down and not paint something beautiful, but just like fuck around in a way that made you think they were going to do something really profound. And you're like, oh, wow, what are they doing? And then at the end, they're like, I don't fucking know what this is. And they throw it away. And you're like, well, I thought for a little bit that something was going to happen. And then it kind of didn't, but it sort of did. Yeah, we both, I think, enjoyed the experience of it. I don't think that we will ever watch it again. And so like a first time watch, really
I bet you watch
befuddling.
this again.
And don't you dare.
I bet you do.
Don't
it.
you put that evil
Somewhere.
on me, Ricky Bobby.
Sometime way down the line.
We'll only watch this again if it's part of a another Bicentennial Man double feature with some friends. Or if I'm watching 2001, then 2010, and then this, then I guess, well, maybe I should structure it differently. I should just watch 2001 at the end of it and work backwards. Seems like this should be the first thing, then 2001, then 2010, because that'll be an interesting buildup to be like, what the fuck is all of this?
The space baby gets adopted by a family that turns up to not wanting it.
Yes, exactly. And then he's left in an enclosure with Harambe. What the fuck happens with him? Yeah, that's. I would recommend this movie. I wouldn't recommend it multiple times, but for one viewing, I found it unique. The production design was great. The technicality of it was fantastic. Story is a fucking hot mess. Haley Joel Osment's performance solidifies why Haley Joel Osment is not Jake Lloyd. And I think that deserves some acknowledgement. But yeah, that's my feelings on it. So I feel like with that, we can close this episode out now. We have 2 would not recommend this versus my very predictable would recommend. Apparently, I'm sure everybody knew that was where this was going. But yeah, Steven Spielberg, if you're listening to this for whatever reason, we've lost faith in you, and I'm sorry. As a director, but as a producer, you can do so much for the film community, and we look forward to seeing what you greenlight, as long as it's not endless sequels and Marvel trash.
I feel like Spielberg knows that he sucks now. He just doesn't care.
That could be true. He does have a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, you don't have to care what people think about you or if you suck or not. So, but if for some reason this tugs on your heartstrings and you felt like we had earnest takes that were, albeit very aggressive, maybe, think about it. Spielberg, do something. Jesus Christ. Like fucking have a cup of coffee with Marty, for God's sake. Talk about where things went wrong. Anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That'll do it for us here at Afterthoughts. I have been your host, John Garcia. With me, as always,
Ryan King. I forgot my favorite Jude Law part when he gets fucking ripped away and he just goes, I was. It's like supposed to be poignant, but it's just stupid.
I thought there was more to that line as well. It's like,
I will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And also joining us,
Michael Dixon. Jesus Christ. Maybe this movie is the cream of the crap, but this was some bullshit. So thank you for putting up with us.
Hey there, movie buffs, TV toughs, and all listeners in between. John here from the Afterthoughts podcast. I just wanted to drop in at the end of this episode and say thanks for listening. If you've got afterthoughts of your own to share, hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Afterpod, or jump into a conversation on our Discord server. You can find info for this and more at theafterpod.transistor.fm. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.